Hello, everyone, and welcome to Decoded Live from One. We are well and truly live and very much at One. You can probably see some of the exhibition banners behind us. My name is Eliza. I am the community manager for North America.
And I am Cecelia Martinez. I am a developer advocate on our advocacy team here at OutSystems. We're super excited to kick things off, and we are joined here by Logan. Want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, my name is Logan Brade. I am also developer advocate at OutSystems, and I cover everything OutSystems Ionic related. So
great. Well, we are going to kick things off here with a discussion, recapping all of the exciting happenings so far at One for all of you at home who aren't able to be here in person. Speaking of all of you at home, please feel free to chime in on the chat. Say hi, say where you're joining from, say what you're looking forward to about the conference, because we will be sharing updates and everything for you today. I want to start, though, with Logan. How has the energy been at the conference so far?
The energy has been very, very high, and it is fantastic.
That's very awesome. This is your first time at One, correct?
It is, yeah. My very first time at One.
Yeah, and we're right here in Amsterdam at the RAI Conference Center. There are almost 3,000 people in the building, so there is a lot of OutSystems excitement, a lot of people in the community who are here to learn about all the latest and greatest from OutSystems, to listen to technical speakers. And there's a lot that really went into preparing for this conference. It was a very long road to One. And speaking of road to One, I wanted to make you aware of some videos that we have on our YouTube page. So if you're already on YouTube, you can check those out. These are 3 sessions that we featured in advance of today's conference. So there's testing in OutSystems, load testing with OutSystems, and embracing ODC for future-proof development. So make sure that you check those out. You can watch those now. You don't have to wait. But if maybe wait until after we're done with our live stream and after we've signed off for the day. Speaking of all the sessions and all the technical sessions, we have a lot of really exciting speakers today on stream. We're going to be streaming for 4 hours this afternoon. As you can see, we have some OutSystems speakers, some MVPs, we have some leadership as well, and people from the team to talk about all the updates. So you really won't feel like you're missing anything from home because we're going to bring you all those insights and exclusive interviews. So make sure that you are, have your screen loaded and ready. Maybe grab some popcorn. Eliza, can you walk us through maybe what viewers can expect today on Decoded Live from the stream?
Yes, absolutely. So again, we're live for 4 straight hours. Cecelia and I do enjoy having a sip of water once in a while, so we'll be trading off a little bit with our 19 guests. Don't quote me on that. I just counted right before we went live, though. So between some segments, we'll have some videos that are under 3 minutes, usually 1 minute, right? Some segments will just have a quick slide. So stay tuned the whole time. If you see a video come up, you have a brief break, but we'll be right back.
And you want to make sure that you're here for as many of the sessions as possible, especially the chances that you have to win some prizes. So we're really excited that we have some OutSystems swag packs to give away to some viewers at home. So even though you're not here to get a t-shirt, you can get a t-shirt and some other exciting OutSystems swag by participating in some of our trivia games that we have. So we have a trivia game today. We have more tomorrow as well. So you definitely won't want to miss those. You don't have to be an expert in all things OutSystems to win. So please check it out, join in, participate. As long as you participate, you have a chance to win an exciting swag pack to be sent directly to you. And those swag packs may or may not include these cool Decoded Live t-shirts. Yeah, so
very cool.
We're very excited to have some Decoded Live swag for all of our future episodes and for the rest of the stream. Well, all that out of the way, let's go ahead and dig into what we really want to talk about, which is recapping all of the exciting announcements that happened today, this morning, with the keynotes. Now, Logan, you were actually backstage for the keynotes, and so you got to see everything right up close. What was that like? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we have to talk about is the evolution of Project Morpheus to what is now going to be OutSystems Mentor.
Yes, and so Mentor was the huge announcement, as we all know. You probably have already seen some updates on social media. The videos have been released, and this is really the next generation of the software development lifecycle digital worker. We'll definitely dig into that, but a little bit more. First, I want to highlight, though, that this announcement is really representative of the evolution of OutSystems and AI, and how much OutSystems is really investing in AI in order to make things better for all of our users. And we have a lot of AI sessions at the conference today. And we also have a lot of AI speakers on Decoded Live. So you can see on your screen the speakers that we will have today and tomorrow, all digging into everything AI, everyone's favorite topic right now. And there's a lot to learn. And we also will be, finishing off the day tomorrow with our own CEO, Paulo Rosado. So make sure that you tune in for that. But back to Mentor. This is, such a huge thing. I know the energy about it is so exciting.
Yes.
Logan, can you tell us a little bit about what Mentor is?
Yes. So what Mentor is, it's not just generative AI, like creating your applications using AI. It's really about using AI throughout the whole software development lifecycle. So not only being able to create your apps, but deploy them, test them, do code reviews and security reviews, and deploy your applications really quickly with AI.
Yeah, it's a lot. It really, we have a quote here from Paulo in his own words, with OutSystems Mentor, developers can now build full stack applications in minutes without sacrificing quality, security, or governance. Mentor ensures apps are built right from the start, changing how software development gets done. So I think the exciting thing for me with this is that it takes the software development lifecycle that we kind of all know, we're all super familiar with that process and what that looks like, and it turns it on its head. It's a radical departure from how we think about making solutions, not even just apps, but like how we solve problems with technology. And so, Logan, I don't know if you can speak a little bit more to like some of the benefits that you see with Mentor from that developer perspective.
I think the biggest thing is like as developers, we constantly get caught up in the process. It's very rarely the technical side that holds us up. It's always the process around deploying our applications. And so using AI to get rid of some of the more onerous parts of the software development lifecycle and just allow us to focus on creating applications really changes the game.
Yeah, and I was really excited to think of it in these kind of 4 pillars or 4 concepts, which is first is generating, right? So we're actually talking about generating not just code, but applications using AI, but then also iterating. So getting recommendations to be able to improve and build upon existing applications, embedding AI into your apps. As we all know, we all are using AI more and more. I know I'm addicted to my Chat GPT.
Well, and you get to choose which AI you want to use in your applications now too.
That's true. Yeah. So it's a lot of flexibility. It makes that part easier, as well as the validation part, right?
Yes.
So analyzing your solutions, making sure that they have security and governance embedded. Actually, can you speak a little bit more to the security piece of that, Logan? I know that's
well, as some of you might know, if you're watching on the stream, is that security is a huge aspect of being able to deploy your applications, and not all teams can integrate security in their software development lifecycle. And what this does is it allows pretty much any team that uses Mentor to incorporate security or make their security even better than what it is now.
Yeah, and so it's really something that I think will be super impactful for developers, but also everybody kind of around developers and businesses. And so Mentor is available for early access. You can request an invite in order to start checking out some of those features today. So make sure that you go to OutSystems.com, check out our website, read all about it, and see and request access so you can start checking out all this, really the future of software development, really, and start getting used to that. And so the other keynote that happened today is our community keynote. And I love our community keynote because I think it just shows how important our developer community is. Eliza, as a community manager, can you speak to our OutSystems developer community about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will say, I believe the community keynote is happening right now, and we all just got a message in the chat saying, "Hey, are any of you at the community keynote?" We are not. We are live on stream. The community is amazing. We just announced maybe seconds ago that our community has passed 200,000 members. That's developers using OutSystems. And we have so many brilliant people contributing to user groups, forums, the Forge, of course. Recently, our Build for the Future hackathon. We've got our MVPs and champions here. They have little lounges for themselves. I believe with coffee, very lucky.
Very important.
And it's just an amazing time to have such a global community with 200,000 people in it, producing awesome apps with OutSystems.
Yes, and Really, we'll be talking a little bit more about our developer community tomorrow. We are excited to welcome Miguel Baltazar, our VP of Developers, and Snave, who is our team lead for community, during a panel tomorrow, day 2, on our live stream at 12:15, all about celebrating community and the amazing programs that we have for our developer community. So make sure to tune into that. And as we kind of anything else that we wanted to highlight from the keynote, Logan, since you were backstage and got to see it?
I think the only thing I can highlight right now is just how excited everybody is and how they were like during the keynote. It seems like this is going to be really the future when it comes to OutSystems.
I know I can't wait to dig in more, and it's been really great to kind of see everything lighting up on social media and people here. And I know that over the next day and a half, we're going to have even more discussions around it and all the technical sessions that we have. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, Logan, and for setting this up. And going back to Eliza's comment about our global community, one of the best features I think about our community is represented in our forums. So I know a lot of developers out there who have ever had to debug anything, learn anything about OutSystems, implement a new feature, has relied heavily on our forums. And we are really excited to announce that the AI translation program of our forums has been expanded. So we are now announcing, as of today, this is really exciting, we're announcing this at the community keynote as well, our AI translation program has expanded to 16 languages. 16
languages?
Yes. So that represents 120 countries, meaning that 98.8% of those 200,000 active community members that Eliza just mentioned are now able to write and read forum questions in their own language. And that's just so important to make everybody in our community feel included and make sure that they have the support and resources that they need to get things done. So well, thank you so much, Logan, for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. And you'll be able to learn a little bit more about our AI translation program coming up in this video. We'll be right back after.
皆さん、こんにちは。ご意見をお聞かせてください。OutSystemsが日本語翻訳オプションを導入した4月以降、日本のコミュニティからの参加が非常に増えていることに気づきました。新しい言語機能の動作はどうですか?
C'est carrément génial. Maintenant, je peux tout voir en français, apprendre plus vite et avoir les réponses dont j'ai besoin.
Cara, muito legal. Era isso mesmo que estava faltando. Finalmente eu e meus amigos vamos poder ajudar pessoas em todos os lugares.
이건 대단한 업데이트예요. 한국 유저들을 위한 개발자를 육성할 수 있게 되었습니다. 감사합니다. OutSystems.
Wow, your feedback is amazing. Let us know which language you'd like us to work on next.
Okay, welcome back. With me now is Eric from Linkit. I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce yourself.
Lovely. I'm Eric. I'm from Linkit. Thank you very much. I've been working with OutSystems for 8 years, I believe. Might be 1 or 2 years more. OutSystems MVP and absolutely loving it.
Amazing. So you are our first OutSystems developer on the stream that is not an OutSystems employee. So what type of kind of projects or venues of developing do you use OutSystems for?
Well, in the end, we do it full stack and everything, but my preference will always be front end. It just is what the client in the end pretends to value more, right?
Sure.
So when you have a project, you can have backend people that work on the project for months, and they'll hate you. But then the front end comes in for 1-2 days, and they see everything change. You see everything come together. You get all the praise. You get very angry looks from the backend people. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, we all love getting the praise for a project. Absolutely. So how has using OutSystems and OutSystems itself changed over the years in your 8 years tenure?
Things became easier, became quicker. Nice. You start getting used to using what's available yet or still. I remember when we first started, a lot of the classes we had to write ourselves. We had to develop our own elements. these days you can get away with using the default element, default classes, and they will do most of the work for you.
Nice. Okay, so you mentioned you're an MVP. Can you tell us what that's like?
It's great. It's just shows you how you're part of the community, how you see the community grow. You see a lot of people coming up to you, asking you questions on how they can help the community like you did. And obviously, we get the cool swag, which is also
You
great.
absolutely do. And a whole lounge with
And the
coffee.
whole
Pretty
lounge.
nice.
But these days, everyone is getting a lounge. I saw Champion
That's true.
Lounge, Partner Lounge,
I
MVP
know.
Lounge. Next year, everyone will have their own lounge. It's getting ridiculous.
Absolutely. So folks at home might have been able to tell from your accent, you're a little bit of a local, didn't have a huge trip to get here. How excited are you that one is in the Netherlands this year?
I hate it. I mean, we could have been in Portugal. We could have been in Spain. We could have been in Italy. Yeah, I mean, this is a home league. We've been here. We've seen this. The country's not that interesting. They give us some nice places to see after the event. But yeah, I believe next year we should go. I don't know. Hawaii would be awesome.
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
Bahamas. Just putting it out there to everyone listening.
Yeah, I will make sure the team hears that feedback. Absolutely. So how many ONE conferences or OutSystems conferences in general do you think you've attended?
Curse words. Should be 5 or 6.
5 or 6,
I
all right.
believe. I think the first one was, I know it was in the Netherlands as well, I believe.
We've had a few here, yeah.
Yeah. I really don't know, to be honest. I've been to a couple.
Okay, all right.
And most of them are always nice. The thing I like most is just seeing the people you haven't seen for a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just talking with the community. It's a great experience every time again.
Yeah. Do you see any big differences between previous years and this one?
The biggest one being the one that was online.
Yes, that was certainly a different experience.
Other than that, not really. I mean, you still have the same types of talks. They tend to switch between separate tracks at the same time or one track. It's like small changes like that. But the overall vibe, the overall feeling, it's just still the same great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you seen anything on the agenda that you're looking forward to seeing, or have you seen anything already that you were excited by?
The things I'm interested most is front end.
Sure.
I believe that at 3:30 we have Product League with the front end
I think that's right.
tips and tricks. I saw them last time; they were amazing. So I hope to learn a lot again this year. Other than that, well, AI is becoming a thing. I don't know if you noticed. So I want to hop into a couple of those sessions.
Yeah.
But my main focus will be front end.
Nice, yeah. So you had a project for the Build for the Future hackathon called Mutts on Board. It's an AI-powered application designed to connect rescue dogs with their perfect new owners. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Oh, most certainly. I mean, I'm sure most of my people will have seen me on the hackathons before. We always love participating, and we always like to do something fun, something that we usually don't do, and just put a little bit of our heart and soul in this. This year, however, we struggled with finding what. But since it was AI themed anyway, we basically asked ChatGPT, give us ideas. And since then, ChatGPT was integrated in our team. It became our PO, it became our UI UX designer, or senior dev at some points.
Nice.
And we just asked him. He came up with the idea of, okay, let's do something for the dogs, adopting dogs. How can we improve the process? How can we make it more fun? Well, we all are very aware of Tinder now. It's how you match with people, and we're like, well, if you can match with people, why not with dogs as well? It's what people know. So we integrated that with our application, Mutts on Board, and I think that we did a great job. I hope that the judges agree. They know I'm bribing them as soon as we win, so we'll see.
Heard that here. There are bribes if he wins. So what was it like really integrating AI in this project, kind of relying on it for something big?
It was quite easy. I mean, we have the agent builder that does most of the work for you. So that simplified things by a lot. The only thing we kept walking into was the token limit. So we had to be slightly more creative with our prompts than we would have liked.
Yeah.
Our idea was to have a conversation like we are having, and then have the AI extract data from that. And for a conversation like that to sound informal, you need to have like almost a page-long prompt, and to make sure that they always come back to the same topic. So we had to shrink that down to like one alinea, which was hard. So in the end, if you try too often, the AI will go off track and start asking you about completely unrelated things, and then it doesn't close the loop.
Of course, yeah.
Some improvement points can be made,
Yeah,
but it was extremely fun to integrate with it.
Yeah, I've heard developers and even some of my team members say that the prompts are really what make it when you are dealing with AI. Yeah, that's really interesting. Was this your first time participating in the hackathon?
No, we participated every time since the first one. I think the first one we did for a South African cancer NGO, and loved it. And since then, I try to put together a team of Muppets every year. The Muppets change, but the idea is always the same. Just have a couple days of fun. Make something fun, exciting, something new. It's not about winning. It's just about making a fun project.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
every year we put something in that judges might think, well, this is not the most efficient or the most productive it could have been. But for us, it was, no, we want this because it just adds value to our fun rather than to the project itself.
Absolutely. Has the hackathon grown over the years? More participants, more challengers?
Oh, yes. I think we started with 12 teams, and this year we are 60 or 70 plus or something. It's grown by a lot.
That's really exciting. Nice. Like I mentioned earlier, we will have the person who runs the Build for the Future hackathon, Snay, on tomorrow. So as an MVP, getting to meet up with all these MVPs in person, what's that experience like annually, getting to see everybody and going to the MVP special event after the conference?
It's always a bunch of fun. I mean, all the MVPs, they are extremely nice people, extremely open people. We obviously share the passion for OutSystems or the complaints about OutSystems. But let's be honest, we do complain a lot. We are the divas of OutSystems in the end. It's just nice to share our voice with like-minded people. And like I said, we're a lovely bunch. So
you are.
Feel free just to come chat with us. we are extremely open for anyone.
Yeah.
To have a conversation with or approach us online if you can't be here today.
Nice. What kind of advice would you have for an OutSystems developer that's interested in becoming an MVP?
Come talk to us. I mean, that's the quickest way for you to learn how we got there, what you can do to get there. And other than that, MVP, it's a lot about understanding OutSystems. So be good at what you do, have fun at what you do, but also show it to the community. Show them what you can do. Write articles or make forge components, talk about it, educate people, to just be a community member that's visible to the rest of the world.
Okay. Now, if we strip the MVP program down to its parts, what's the one thing you wouldn't want to lose?
Swag. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It will always be about swag in the end. No, but other than that, it's just the feeling of being recognized for what you do for the community.
Sure.
It's awesome.
Yeah, amazing. So we've got a few minutes left here. Anything you want to say to our audience at home?
Thanks for listening, I guess.
So this is the nature of trying to do this live. Our first segment ended almost 2 minutes early. So now we have to drag ourselves along for 2 minutes more.
It's fine. I was discussing this off screen. I'm Dutch. So we Dutch, we are straight to the point.
Yes.
So if you ask us a question like, how are you? Good. Next question. It's just in our nature. We're not rude. We're just efficient.
You are.
And you see that with every interview that we do. And we can try to fill up time, but in the end, we are extremely efficient with our words.
You are. Very clear answers. I should have just come with more questions, I think. Oh, I've got one. What advice do you have for people looking to participate in future hackathons?
Oh man, just find a group of people you vibe with. Just try at least to have some different branches. So with someone that has affinity for a UI design, some for backend integrations, whatever. But mostly just people you can have fun with, because
Absolutely.
at certain points it will be stressful. And then if you don't work well with the person, it will escalate fast. If you just can laugh about it, if you just can make jokes, perfect. It's more about having a nice team rather than finishing it.
Nice.
There you go.
So I'll say to the audience, I don't think we mentioned this in the beginning. All of the recordings of the sessions will be live eventually. If I told you when, I think several people at OutSystems would kill me. But I think it is going to be a month-ish, hopefully less. I do want to say a matter of weeks, but I can't promise anything. So with the sessions, did you attend our keynotes this morning?
I was slightly late because of traffic.
Okay.
So I caught like the last 5 minutes or so, sadly enough.
Of product or the Paulo's keynote? Product
Paulo's keynote.
Paulo's keynote. Did you go to the product keynote?
I was drinking coffee.
Oh, that's totally
Drinking coffee,
totally
catching
reasonable.
up with the MVPs.
Yeah,
And then it was too late, sadly enough. But like you said, there will be recordings that we can watch.
absolutely. They had like a little internal stream for us OutSystems team members. So I had it set up on a computer right here while I was prepping today. And I caught about 5 minutes as well. So I'm looking forward to those recordings. Yeah, exactly. What was the mood in the audience like for those 5 minutes you were there?
It's very attentive. I mean, there's always new things coming on that they show there. So everyone wants to have the latest scoop and understand whatever is being said. So they were listening. They were there. They were present. And very keen to hear whatever Paulo had to say.
Nice. Well, I think that's about all we have. But I do want to say thank you so much for joining us.
You're
This was a
welcome.
blast. Oh, you know what? Did you have lunch?
I did. Well, after the long ass line, yeah, I had some
That
lunch.
was a really long line. Cecelia and I were perched. Like I said, we're on a balcony. We were perched at the balcony trying to see when they were done setting up so we could run down, grab lunch, and get out of there. It was a very, very long line. I don't know if there were many other options for nearly 3,000 people in the building, but yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I will let you get out of here. Maybe attend some sessions. Maybe just hang out in the MVP lounge. Yeah.
Awesome.
So up next, after this quick video, Cecelia is going to be back with Ossama, one of our conference speakers. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
JustSolve's purpose is to create, support, and scale software products for both entrepreneurs and the corporate ecosystem. They're an innovative community of problem solvers, empowering their clients to achieve more with less. For them, software development is much more than just writing code. It's about developing solutions that serve people, leaving a lasting and positive impact. This results in highly customized, flexible, maintainable, and affordable software for businesses that want to differentiate themselves, be future-ready, and decrease time market. They cover all aspects of hyper-automation for their product offerings, which include innovation and design, product development, data analysis, artificial intelligence, low-code programming, robotic process automation, as well as talent solutions to address the skill shortage in the market. JustSolve stands out in the hyper-automation industry as a thought leader, supported by their position as the #1 low-code advisory firm in South Africa.
All right, welcome back to the stream. I'm super excited to welcome Ossama from Phoenix DX.
Thank you very much.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, could you introduce yourself? Tell us about your role.
Sure. So I'm a senior technical lead and trainer and MVP at Phoenix DX. I've been with the Phoenix team for about just over 4 years. And I am around anything to do with OutSystems, projects, solution architecture, development, kind of live and breathe the sort of stuff. So I'm incredibly passionate about the platform.
Amazing. And can you tell us a little bit about Phoenix DX specifically?
Of course. So Phoenix DX is a boutique organization when it comes to software development, specifically when we talk about OutSystems. There's a plethora of knowledge and technical expertise at Phoenix. We've currently got 6 MVPs, which is the highest amount of MVPs in one organization in the world. And we've got 3 trainees at the moment, and we foster a really nice and nurturing sort of environment when it comes to helping our developers grow and sharing that knowledge with the community as well.
That's amazing. I love that. And so you mentioned that you've been working with OutSystems for the last, 4 to 5 years. Is this your first time at a ONE conference?
No, so this is my second time. So last year, I was lucky enough to present as well over there. My talk was titled Harnessing Your Creativity and OutSystems, and it was revolved around kind of sort of a side project or a game that I've built, which is basically recreating the Uno game, card game, in OutSystems using kind of out-of-the-box sort of OutSystems components. Second time.
Wow, so I've heard of this app. I've heard of this game. I did not realize that you were the one that created it. So yes, your reputation precedes you.
I appreciate it.
And I love that because I think a lot of times when we talk about OutSystems, we're building business solutions, enterprise applications, but there's so much you can do with it, really.
100%.
Yeah, that's really amazing that you're able to kind of stretch the and push the boundaries of the platform and what you can do with it. I love that.
Fully agree. I think it's always important to keep the creative side alive, think outside the box, because that's when special things happen. So fully with you.
Amazing. And so this is your second time speaking at ONE. What do you like? How do you prepare for your talk?
Oh, that's a good question. I might have a controversial answer. I don't prepare as much as maybe I should, to be honest. Not from a negative perspective, but I feel that I flow better when I present, when I have specific ideas in my mind, and then I just tie these ideas on the spot when I talk through. So it's way more, it flows way nicer with me when I actually, I don't want to say improvise, but I've got these 4 thoughts that I want to share. I've got them locked in my mind. And then how I do that is something I do kind of on the spot. I just feel a little bit more comfortable doing that rather than maybe memorizing, let's say, lines of, things I want to say. That's how I approach it. I know this might be something that not everyone might align to, but I feel that works best for me.
I think that actually makes a lot of sense, especially given, your training background and how you educate around OutSystems and the level of your expertise.
Sure.
I think sometimes if you have a script, you're more worried about remembering the exact line.
Exactly. It's more important to deliver the message rather than trying to memorize a few lines,
Exactly.
So I'm with you.
And so for your talk at this conference, it introduces a concept that you call the OutSystems ladder, right? And so it's a framework or roadmap for developers as they're progressing to be successful in their career.
Correct.
Can you tell me a little bit more about, what inspired this talk?
Of course. So throughout kind of my journey in OutSystems, I've come across, and I'm sure a lot of people as well, have come across individuals in different stages. So they might have just started OutSystems or they've been within the ecosystem for a while. But the common denominator between all of these is that there's always challenges that these developers face. And the reason or the main inspiration behind this talk was trying to connect with all of these developers, regardless what stage you are in this journey, and help them overcome these challenges. Because at the end of the day, all of us are going to go through challenges, and it's about how we overcome them and how we progress to the next step of the ladder in order to continue growing within this community, because it's an amazing community. And
really is.
It's only right to kind of give back. So in order to get to that stage, we need to kind of grow and we need to gain expertise. And when we get there, we have the ability to give back to the community. So that's kind of the thought process behind that.
Yeah. And so when you were, earlier in your OutSystems career, did you rely on the community a lot?
100%. I did rely a lot on the community. I'm sure a lot of individuals might also relate to this. Checking up on the forums, the documentation, of course, which borderline community, but user groups, there was a big factor there for me. And then I eventually started speaking user groups as well as a way to kind of give back. Articles, reading up on articles that have been written by members of the community and then kind of writing them for myself. So 100%.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through this, I believe.
So I love that you started by speaking at user groups and now you're speaking at ONE and
Love it.
kind of been able to have that progression and get that experience. That's really amazing. So
Appreciate it.
yeah. And so in your talk, it's from skeptic to MVP. So you mentioned some initial kind of skepticism as you started off in your career.
Correct.
What hesitations did you have and how did you overcome that?
I and I think this might be something that a lot of individuals might relate to. Going into OutSystems, my background, obviously I've already started studying software development and actually complete my university degree when I first got introduced to OutSystems. I eventually did, of course, but not at that particular point. But I was starting to learn Java and one of those traditional sort of development languages. And of course, being one of the first development languages I started to learn, I was very kind of passionate about it because, I like software development and this is a software development language. So I like this. And then OutSystems comes along and everything that I've sort of learned over the past 3 or 4 years is questioned because there's now this new technology that is saying that I can do all of the things that I'm already doing, but 100 times faster almost. So when someone tells you that, you're like, okay, hold up for a second. Sure, there might be technologies out there, but how good is it actually? And this is where the skepticism comes into play. And I do believe that unless OutSystems was the first language or the first platform, I should say, that you've come across, I do believe that specific
it's natural
idea,
right?
yes, exactly, is the kind of the first level of skepticism that you encounter as a software developer.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good point because I come from a traditional software development background as well, and I think a lot of OutSystems developers do, right?
Agreed.
So this is something that a lot of our developers go through that process of coming from other technologies like Java or from C# or different languages, and they're like, well, is this too good to be true? Am I going to lose my developer skill set? Is this something? Am I going to be able to build powerful apps? And
100%.
I went through that process myself too. I think everyone can attest to that. But it's something where once you get into the get into the platform and start building with it, you can see all the amazing things that you can do with that. So
agreed, fully agreed.
So, what advice would you give to OutSystems developers who maybe are earlier in their career, regardless of whether they come from a traditional software development background or if OutSystems is their first language? What would you give to people really early in to just start doing early?
Sure. Like I said, I think before, we're going to 100% hit challenges. That's just how we grow when we overcome these challenges. But my advice would be when you actually start hitting these challenges, rely on the community. So if you're an early OutSystems developer, you might not be familiar a lot with the community. And that might be a little bit, maybe a little bit intimidating just because there's this whole world out there that you haven't interacted with just yet. My number one advice would be rely on the community as much as you could, connect with OutSystems advocates as much as you could, because they can help you answer the questions that you might have as precisely as possible. Because yes, of course, the community is a great way of doing it as well. But if you have that connection with an advocate, you can have kind of the more tailored conversation regarding. So those will be the two main pieces of advice. Rely on the community as much as possible and connect with OutSystems advocates when you can.
I think one of the things that's unique about the OutSystems community is sometimes with other technologies, the communities can be fragmented, right? So if you think about Java or C#, you may have different frameworks that you're using with or different tools that you're using with, and you may not always have a good immediate first source to go to for a good answer. And with OutSystems, because everybody is speaking the same language, working on the same types of applications, we have these really great hubs. You mentioned the forums. You also are a part of our MVP program, which can be a very exciting place to engage with others. You mentioned our user groups. What are some other places that people can engage with the community to do that? No,
I agree. I think OutSystems does a really good job in highlighting those areas. So like I said, the MVP program, the Champions program, the Trainers program, the Mentorship program, which is one that's more recent. OutSystems does a really good job at highlighting those. So it's very easy for individuals who are experiencing the community for the first time. They know where to go.
Yes.
They know where to go. And, if I wanted to get in touch with someone for a technical question, for example, Champions or MVP. If I wanted to get in touch with someone because I wanted to get more training for me or for my team, I go to the Trainers. If I get more personalized training for myself, for mentorship, I go to the mentorship program. So yeah, OutSystems does a really good job in defining those.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned the mentorship program, because that is something that's newer and allows more senior developers and junior developers to connect to discuss anything from technical topics to growing their network. And you mentioned earlier that you like to give back to the community.
Yes.
That's something that you're obviously very passionate about. But in addition to just that sense of being able to give back because of what you were kind of given from the community early, what are some of the other benefits that people may not realize to giving back and to having that leadership role in a community?
I do believe, to be honest, that one of the main areas of strength of how you measure how healthy or strong a community is the advocates within them. So if you give back to the community, of course, you're not only benefiting that particular individual or the group of people, but you're also growing the community as a whole. And And that kind of side effect, if you like, is one of the biggest and strongest strengths what we see in communities worldwide, but especially in OutSystems as well, because all of the individuals who like to contribute to the community, whether that's articles, forums, user groups, conferences, etc., in one way or the other, they're actually benefiting the community as a whole, not just to the people attending the conferences or people reading their articles. And that kind of solidifies that whole sort of sense of community. And, we have people we can rely on. And so yeah, that's what I see it.
Yeah, I like the idea that you can also start small, right?
100%.
Yeah, you don't have to go out and try to be like the #1 forum responder or write a 10-page tutorial about OutSystems. You can start with somebody like on your own team who may have a question.
Oh, 100%. One example that comes to mind immediately is something that we do at Phoenix DX. We call it a Dev Digest, and essentially it's a consolidation of dev tips, which can be 15 seconds. That doesn't have to be longer than that, of how to do something specific in OutSystems. So, how to change this entity from being public to private, which is a very basic thing to do. But these kind of small dev tips, how to deal with CSS challenges, that consolidation of dev tips and articles and videos that we do under Dev Digest, something super, super small, but it can go a long way.
I want to subscribe to the CSS tips.
That makes two of us.
Absolutely. That's something I always struggle with. But those small tips, you don't know them until you know them, right? And a lot of times when you learn something, it's because you did it wrong or you couldn't find it. And so the more exposure you have even to those small snippets is really, really helpful. So yeah, I love that approach. And it's like you said, it's a way that you can just kind of start small, document what you've learned. Maybe if you're going through a training, sharing what you're learning with the community, that can be really powerful. And a lot of, like you said, it can be something basic, but if you haven't heard it before, then you haven't heard it before.
And we're all sat somewhere, of course. So you want to be, and I guess that's where that ladder comes into play. I would love for everyone, and I'm sure everyone, who's fully involved in the community, we want to be advocates for OutSystems, but we'll all start somewhere. And, baby steps.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And have you been able to connect with some of your community members here at the conference?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, these kinds of conferences are very important for me because being based in Sydney, Australia, I'm a little bit far away from everyone else. So this is a really good excuse, I guess, and a really good place to connect with fellow MVPs, but also connect with some community members, some of the partners that are here as well. Given that I've kind of worked in one capacity or another with a lot of partners, artist partners, so it's also a good way to kind of connect with those. I've definitely been enjoying my time a lot.
That's amazing. How long is that flight?
So it was 15 hours to Doha and then another 7 to Amsterdam.
Wow.
So,
I think you may win.
What's important for me right now is beat the jet lag and not fall asleep on stage. That'll be good.
Well, there's lots of coffee. The MVP and the Champions Lounge and the community booth all have coffee. So that's important. I think we're all trying to stay as caffeinated as possible. And I'm really excited to watch your talk recording when it comes live in a few weeks and learn more about the OutSystems ladder and career progression. Is there anything that you'd like to add for our people watching at home?
I think just one final piece of advice, which we've touched on before. Please don't be shy to kind of reach out when it comes to, challenges within the OutSystems community. Everyone is super, super, super helpful. Whether you talk with an MVP or a champion or just any advocate within the community, everyone's super helpful. As developers, I know typically we don't like to talk to people, so they're coming from me as well. So don't be shy. There is, if you're not aware, there is the ability to send a private message on your OutSystems profile. So you can go to any OutSystems community member's profile and there's like send a message option. Just as simple as that. Yeah. Just to say, hello, I might be struggling here a little bit. Is there any advice you can give me? I have gotten a couple of these before, and I really enjoy when people do it because it just means that people want to kind of pursue kind of this journey within OutSystems. So don't be shy.
I love that. Yeah, great tip. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today with us. Yeah, even though we don't like talking to people, we're here talking to each other. So I appreciate that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. And so up next, we do have some trivia time. So it's going to be a chance for you to win a prize from OutSystems. So stay tuned and we will get started with that here in just a moment. Thank you again, Ossama.
Thank you.
All right. Nice. Well, that is, so like I said, it is now trivia time. And we will get started with that here in just one moment. You can go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen to join. We will be, this is your chance to win some prizes. All right, so scan the QR code on your screen or go to slido.com and enter code 1281752 to join. This is a chance for you to win an OutSystems prize pack. We are going to be doing ODC trivia, but don't worry, you don't have to be an expert. As long as you participate and join in, you can win. You will be required to enter your name and email. That is so that we can email you if you win to make sure that we can send you your cool OutSystems prize pack. So please join now, sign in with your name and email, and we will get started here in just a minute. We have 5 questions all about ODC. All right. I see people joining already. Looks like we have quite a few. So I'll give it a few more seconds. Again, you can also join in if you can't join right away. Once we get started, you can always hop in once the questions have begun. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to the first question. So you'll see that in your Slido app and you can put your answer in. So the AI Mentor Studio in ODC analyzes code quality based on which of the following: performance, security, maintainability, or all of the above. All right, so get your answers in. Again, you can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can go to slido.com and enter code 1281752. All right, so get your answers in for that chance to win an OutSystems prize pack. Looks like we have quite a few people responding already. There's a popular answer. I won't say which one it is. But again, the AI Mentor Studio in ODC analyzes code quality based on which of the following: performance, security, maintainability, or all of the above. All right, you have a few more seconds to get your answers in, and then we will move on to the next question. And of course, the answer is all of the above, right? So the AI Mentor Studio in ODC analyzes code based on performance, security, and maintainability. Looks like that was a very popular answer, so most of you got that right. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question here is, as of August, client-side traces are now available in ODC. Which of the following is not a client-side trace? Is it block, JavaScript, system event, or consume REST API? So go ahead and get your answers in now. Again, which of the following is not a client-side trace? Is it block, JavaScript, system event, or consume REST API? You have about 30 seconds left to get your answers in. And for those of you who are not familiar with client-side traces in ODC, it allows you to get the full picture of what occurred in your application, which makes it a lot easier to debug. Previously, we have had back-end traces, and we are super excited that now client-side traces are available. All right, get your votes in. Again, if you are just joining, it's okay to hop in now. You can scan the QR code or go to slido.com and join at 1281752 is the code. Get your answers in, and we will now reveal the answer, which is consume REST API. So consume REST API is not a client-side trace. That happens on the server. So that is something that you would be able to do with a backend trace. However, the rest of these, block, JavaScript, and system events, are all examples of client-side traces. All right, let's move on to the next question. Looks like, so ODC Portal consolidates functionality previously managed in Service Studio, Service Center, Lifetime, Service Center, and Users, or blocks. Let's get your answers in. I see some one very popular response already. Might be right, might be wrong, but you'll want to go ahead and respond. That way you can participate to win that swag pack. If you've already got your answer in the chat, feel free, or in Slido, feel free to also say hi in the chat. No cheating. But if you want to give some tips to the other people and say hi and where you're joining from. All right, just a few more seconds to get your answers in. I do see quite a few votes already, but want to make sure that you get your chance to win that prize pack. All right, and then so we'll go ahead now and reveal the answer. which is, as most of you guessed, Lifetime Service Center and Users. So ODC Portal now consolidates all of that functionality into one easy-to-use location to manage all of your applications. All right, let's take a look at the next question. So this is question 4. What feature in ODC allows you to automate complex business processes, including automated and manual tasks? Is it workflows, action flow, events, or true change? So again, what feature in ODC allows you to automate complex business processes, including automated and manual tasks? Go ahead and put your answers into the Slido. Again, there's still time to join and register with your name and email to win that OutSystems swag pack. The QR code is on your screen, or you can go to slido.com and enter code 1281752. All right, just 10 more seconds to get your answers in. I see a few more people still answering, so we'll definitely want to give you a chance. I actually have some variety of answers on this one, but the answer is workflows. Yes, so OutSystems workflows are a brand new feature that allows you to automate complex business processes. OutSystems workflows are in ODC Portal. So you're able to build out workflows without going into ODC Studio, which means anybody on your team, including non-developers, can go in and create these workflows. These are useful for things like automated processing of loan applications or any type of repetitive process that takes place. You can connect them to your application, and you can also trigger events that require human or manual interaction before proceeding. So you can check those out, again, in ODC Portal and Workflows to learn more. All right, well, it is time for the last question. So if you have not registered yet, this is your last chance to scan that QR code or go to slido.com and enter code 1281752. And we're about to kick off question number 5. All right, so AI Agent Builder lets you add and configure external data sources. What AI technique does this enable for your app? Is it LLM, ML, RAG, or GPT? A lot of letters, alphabet soup, if you will, on the screen right now. So if you know the answer, get that in. I see some votes coming in, not as many as the previous question, so make sure that you do that. You have about 30 seconds left to get your answers in. All right, not much time left. I'm seeing a lot of different types of answers. Great. So we have some, again, is it an LLM, ML, RAG, or RAG, or GPT? Is the AI technique that AI Agent Builder lets you add by configuring external data sources. All right, it is time to reveal the answer. And of course, the answer here is RAG, or RAG. So that's Retrieval Augmented Generation. There's a lot of popular responses for LLM, which is a large language model. And it's true that AI Agent Builder does leverage an LLM when you add and configure external data sources. So you're not far off with that. However, by supplementing an LLM with your own specific data sources, that is what we consider RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. So congratulations to all of you who participated. We had quite a few, and you will all be eligible, as long as you registered with your name and email, to win an OutSystems prize pack. Thank you so much for playing. We will notify you by email if you have one. There will also be more opportunities to win tomorrow on day 2. So this was ODC trivia. Tomorrow we will have some AI trivia. We will also have some trivia about our OutSystems community, and a couple of other fun surprises in store for you to be able to win more prizes. So again, drop in the chat, say where you're from. We are streaming live to 2 different platforms. We're streaming to YouTube, and then also we're streaming to LinkedIn. So if you're joining from YouTube, throw in the chat, Team YouTube. If you're joining from LinkedIn, throw in the chat, Team LinkedIn, and we'll see which platform is more popular with all of our audience today. So thank you so much for joining from home. We know that the community means so much to us, and we're really excited to be able to bring OutSystems ONE conference to you wherever you may be joining from today. We have a lot more coming up for you. This has been the first hour of Decoded Live, live at 1. Coming up in our next hour, we have a OutSystems partner panel with Rui Felix and Victor Salvalagio. After that, we'll also be featuring an interview with our MVP, Craig St. Jean at Zebia. And we'll also have Rodrigo Coutinho, our OutSystems AI project manager and co-founder, on the stream to talk about AI, about the big mentor announcement, about all the exciting things that are coming from OutSystems so that you won't miss any of the exciting news that's taking place here at 1 today. So we will be back with that and coming up soon in another hour. So make sure that you don't go away. Whether you're joining from YouTube or LinkedIn, stay tuned. We have a lot more in store for you. We will be coming up next after this message. We have a short message from one of our partners, and we will be back after that.
Udan is an IT consulting company specialized in high-performance, low-code development, or, as we like to call it, the future of app development. Established in 2015 in the Netherlands and Belgium, Udan became a truly international consulting company when it merged in 2021 with 2 other specialized low-code companies, extending its operations to Castelo Branco and Almada in Portugal, where OutSystems originated. Delivering services in regions such as the USA, Canada, Central and South America, as well as a large number of European countries, of course, the company made its mark in sectors like tech, energy, banking, insurance, health, F&B, and NGOs. From functional analysis to architecture, from core development to project management, UX, UI, migrations, integrations, you name it. All this has been made possible thanks to our technical lead team, which has over 13 years of experience in low-code, high-performance low-code, and surrounding technologies. And recently, Udan officially became an OutSystems partner for the Nordic region, establishing formal operations based in the Swedish cities of Stockholm and Malmö. If you're looking for the right partner to support your business innovation as you head into the future, or if you already have low-code in your technology portfolio, take a look at udanit.com and come talk to us. Udan, IT consulting for the future.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from that video. We did a little host switch on you. You're back with Eliza. And with me right now is Victor, and we are missing Rui. Rui is a participant in the Build for the Future Hackathon who is wandering on right now. Didn't get any prep time with us, but it's going to be great. So I'll start. No problem. So just real quick, just make sure you're close to the mic so everyone can hear you. Nice and comfy with it. So I'm going to start with intros. So let's start with Victor. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Victor Salvalagio. I work with OutSystems since 2012. I'm Brazilian. 2018, I moved to Portugal, and I really started to focus on OutSystems. So it's already 7 years here in Europe. And currently, I work as a solutions architect and tech lead at Valente.
Nice, nice. And Rui?
Good. My name is Rui. I am the COO, also systems architect at Auski. Essentially, I've been working with OutSystems for almost 18 years, so I'm a dinosaur here.
Amazing.
And it's a pleasure to be here.
Nice, nice. So how are you each enjoying the conference so far?
It has been really, really great. Some great news to help to speed up the development. So it has been fun. And it's also a very cool place to meet such great professionals, partners, clients, and share experiences. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's great to see what Project Morpheus has turned into. So now it's mentor, and we have a lot of more capabilities. And with ODC, I think we will have a great product for the next year. So it's great to network, to meet new people, and that's it.
Nice, nice. I'll just diverge from my questions a little bit here. So Victor is speaking for the first time at ONE. Are you looking forward to that?
Yes, really excited, a little bit anxious, but really excited about it. First time speaking at one first time speaking on the stage. So I think it will be great.
Nice. And I just mentioned, Rui, you were a little bit late because of the Build for the Future Hackathon Awards.
Yeah. We're just finishing watching the awards and the initiatives. So they are really, really cool.
Nice. That's exciting. Okay, so you are both from OutSystems Partners. What is the sort of process like getting started as an OutSystems partner?
First of all, it's good to be an OutSystems partner because we get to share experience and to have to go hand in hand with OutSystems, and also to have the confidence that what we are doing is the correct thing when doing implementation and bringing OutSystems to the customers and seeing the value, and also us sharing thoughts and ideas with OutSystems, with everyone from sales, from engineering, from everyone or the community. It's the right place to be.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the best thing is to be closer to OutSystems, right? So we can benefit of this relationship a lot. And if you work with a partner, you have probably a lot of people with 18 years of experience in OutSystems or things like that. So it's great for projects.
So our audience today is mostly developers. We've probably got a few business people tuning in because we decided to last minute stream from LinkedIn as well as YouTube. But what is the real benefit to developers at customers for working with a partner?
I think it's the experience, right? So if you work with a partner, you have a lot of people with a lot of experiences, and for developers, you have someone to learn with, someone with more knowledge than you, and you have to grow.
Nice.
Yeah, essentially, if you are a partner, there's a lot of confidence and trust that the clients have with you because you are a partner. So you are certified, everything is up to date, and you have an open channel with OutSystems to exchange thoughts, ideas, or issues. OutSystems is there to support you all the way.
Nice. Rui, what is your talk on today?
Well, my talk is going to be tomorrow.
Okay.
No worries. And essentially is about more or less like a case study when we went to a client and they wanted to shift from, they had a huge factory in OutSystems.
Sure.
And everything was in traditional. And if you want to pick up and go to ODC eventually, the first step is to go for reactive, to change everything to reactive, and then change a little bit the architecture to be ODC ready. And my talk is going to be, it's quite short, 30 minutes. We could talk for this for hours, but essentially is to talk about the experience and the tools and more or less the operational part of doing this type of task of changing everything from traditional to reactive and ODC ready that we did with only a team of 2 people.
Amazing.
During 1 full year. Okay, it was a very big factory, but with a small team, we fully rebuilt what they had. So it's a cool story to tell.
That's amazing. And what about yours, Victor?
Yeah, my presentation is about external logic in ODC. So just like we have extensions in OutSystems 11, we can do the same with ODC using C# the same way. And I built a tool to help us on this process. Okay, so we have Integration Studio for OutSystems 11, and we don't have something similar for ODC. So I try to build something similar to Integration Studio and help us building the project.
Nice. That's exciting. Very cool. So you both have a wide experience, a variety of different projects, industries, that kind of thing, working with OutSystems. What trends are you seeing with the customers you kind of work with the project you're working on?
I always see a lot of integrations. Right? So I think this is something that we always have to do. We always have to integrate with everything. And now customers is starting to ask more about Gen AI.
Sure.
So now this is the trend for IT. Right, and then AI is always there asking what we can do, how can we use this to speed up the process, the business, and mentor is there to help us.
Nice.
Yeah, essentially, I fully agree with you. The Gen AI trend is something that is going, but not only for the side of the business, where we can have Gen AI assisting the business, but also for the development side. So Gen AI being used on the development side to speed up the process and to deliver even faster. And the cool thing is that OutSystems already has a lot of tools that assist the developers and the development side to quickly deliver and bring value. That is the trend. So Gen AI needs to be everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so I know I may be asking you both to sell yourselves a little bit here, but what are some characteristics that people should look for when evaluating a partner to hire?
I think you should go for a solid one, right? One that is in the market for a long time.
Yeah.
Because they can help you during all this process. It is not just building one project. So you have to understand the business, get the requirements, build the projects, and maintain that application for a long time. So I think it's a solid experience is the best thing.
Yeah, that's a very good approach. Essentially, we try to sell always ourselves. We try to understand the problem. We don't bring out systems and say, this is the tool for you to use.
1 second. I should have warned everyone about this earlier, but we have a very we have a very loud speaker right above us whenever a break is coming to an end. And while you may not be able to hear it, it is right on top of our heads. So it's hard for us to keep talking. Go ahead.
But what I was saying is that, so we try to see what are the issues or the challenges that the client has, and then let's discuss if OutSystems is the best solution, of course, and usually it is, and how it can integrate with their business and understand what
with their platforms.
Essentially, what are their pains and how can we fix the pains? And usually, OutSystems is the better tool to do a lot of things that they want.
Absolutely, yeah. So you both are senior enough in your careers here that you're speaking at the conference. So I'll ask, what is your advice to developers looking to grow their career with OutSystems?
Well, to work in technology is very ungrateful because we are always behind. There's always something new. We always feel left behind. Oh, I do not know enough, and so on. My recommendation is, first of all, to seek all the training that is necessary, get certified, get on board, see what the tool can do, and most of all, work with your colleagues, learn with your colleagues. This is not something for me to tell to work remotely or not, but even if you are remote or if you are in the office, work with your colleagues, ask questions. Just don't do just the task. Be curious and ask questions on why are we doing this and so on. For me, that would be the recommendation.
Yeah, and as we said, so we are always behind something. We're always some technology, some version or something behind. But I think that you have to focus on technology. You have to study JavaScript, CSS, and all these things that we use. And I think that you should really focus on the business because OutSystems does a lot for us. And we can focus on the business and help and focus on the project that we are delivering, and everything else will be fine.
Nice. So I'm sure you're both very focused, speaking of focused, on your talks over the next couple of days. Did you see any on the agenda that you're excited to see as well? Other folks' talks?
I saw one yesterday. I was waiting for my dry run, and I saw ones about CSS animations. I think it's from OutSystems, not a partner.
Okay.
And I was excited to see that because I really like CSS and the styles and this front end part.
Nice.
I'm excited for that one.
Nice.
I fully agree. I also like that UI part and everything. So
yeah, my first interview today with Eric, I asked him about what he normally works on with OutSystems, and he said he works with everything, but his favorite is UI UX. Yeah. Because he gets to come in with the customer and impress them, while the back end stuff, they don't even notice. So
there's a huge wow factor when we showcase for the first time in a couple of days, like a quick demo or something that really resonates with the client. They are, wow, this is really awesome.
Yeah. Nice. So we had a couple keynotes this morning. I don't know if you got to see them. You were probably in your booths talking to everyone, but even if you didn't, what are you sort of most excited for with OutSystems' future?
I think it's ODC. Yeah, right? I think it's ODC. We know that it's already on the market. We already have some projects going on, but I want to see where ODC can go. So it's
still new, so it's a new technology, a new version, new everything. But I think there's a lot of new things coming to ODC and for the whole environment.
Yeah, I'm really excited on what will come next from ODC and so on. So there's going to be a lot of evolution from the platform, from OutSystems. So I'm always curious to know, okay, what will come next? Will give me more.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so I'm once again going a little bit off script with a couple questions. First, did you both enjoy the lunch today?
Yes, it was great. I had chicken. It was great.
I also had the
I
chicken.
didn't had lunch.
Oh, no. Were the lines too long or were you busy?
I was busy. A lot of people talking.
Yeah.
A lot of old friends and so on that we get to make by coming to these conferences and old colleagues and so on. So I never got to eat anything.
Well, because I am on camera so much the next 2 days, I have a huge pile of protein bars over there. So if you need to grab one, you're welcome to it. So I'll just give you both a moment. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience of developers at home?
I think if you are new to OutSystems and you are watching us, just go for it. I think it's a great thing to learn. It's a great platform, a lot of projects, a lot of new markets. So the community really help us. So our community is strong. So you can ask questions. Everyone is there to help you, and a lot of training online. Okay, so just go for it.
Yeah, exactly. My thoughts exactly. We're on the spot. Yeah.
Have either of you met before?
No.
I also haven't met you all before either. So this is going great, I think. Awesome. So thank you both so much for joining us. This was great. I had a great time chatting with you both.
Oh, thank you.
You said this was your first interview. I think you did great. You did great, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Did
Thank you.
great. Good luck with both your talks, and we will catch you maybe next year.
Yeah. I hope so.
We hope. So joining me next is John, who I mentioned earlier. He is with Zebia. He is one of our MVPs in the US. And I am just going to switch mics real quick. Okay, I'm on a new mic. Do I sound different? You can tell me. So here comes Craig.
Hello.
Hi, Craig. Why don't you just introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. I'm Craig St. Jean. I'm the Chief Technology Architect at Zebia. We are based out of the US, though founded in the Netherlands. And I've been an OutSystems MVP since 2018, and I've been using OutSystems in general since 2017. Prior to that, I was a high-code developer, a lot of Java, C#, things like that. I'm on the list of one of those people that was a skeptic until they myself started using OutSystems and didn't want to use it at all. Kept looking for the places where it wouldn't accomplish what I wanted it to do, and basically never found that point. So I still use it.
Nice. Yeah, speaking of skeptics, we are going to have all of the skeptics videos play at some point over the next 2 days.
Fantastic.
When we were rehearsing, we were concerned, actually, there's a skeptics video playing right after this interview. And I was like, oh no, is that the Craig video? It is not. We're safe. I think yours is tomorrow. So stay tuned tomorrow if you want to see his skeptics video. It's a great series talking about exactly what you just said. No way can this do everything you all are saying.
Yeah.
But in fact, it can.
It can.
So were you able to see our keynotes this morning?
Yes, they were fantastic.
Perfect. What thoughts do you have about them?
I mean, obviously, I always want to say Project Morpheus. OutSystems Mentor is fantastic. It's really coming along. Being able to just jump in there, give it a requirements document, have it start generating, and then allow you to iterate off of that. That's what I'm most excited about. It is really delivering on generative AI in ways that a lot of, in the high code world, a lot of people say, well, we've got GitHub Copilot and all these other things. And now OutSystems has this tool that will 100x what they get with their Copilot.
Nice.
Very excited. I've already had some early access into it, and it's working how I would hope it would. So
I mentioned this earlier, but we didn't get a ton of time to watch the keynotes this morning. And I'm just curious, I'm saying this live on air. How did the demo go? Did it go okay?
the demo was great.
Nice.
Everything worked as it should have. And then some. One of the fantastic things that I was really excited about is they provided a requirements document into a workflow. And that requirements document didn't go through some edge cases, such as what about rejection workflows and so on. And the solution that Mentor came up with actually included those edge cases in its build out. So even though it didn't receive requirements, it said, hey, whatever internal model I have says, I think you need this. And so I'm going to go ahead and put that in for you.
Very
So
cool.
that was very exciting.
That's awesome. You have been an OutSystems MVP, one of 3 in the US.
Yes.
And 4 or 5 in all of North America for several years. How has the role evolved, and what do you like about the program?
Sure. So how it's evolved is, honestly, it was very kind of open-ended earlier on with contributing however you could, which I was very passionate about the training aspect. I come from some training backgrounds, being a Pluralsight author, and did a lot of training for WebSphere and Java. And so moving into OutSystems, the first thing I was thinking is, okay, well, how do we train more people and get more people involved? And over the years, it's evolved to have a bit more structure as we've grown and with more people. So now there's interactions directly with some of the product management teams, the research teams. Whenever we have some challenges with real world usage of OutSystems, we've got a direct line into the people that are in charge of those features. And so we can say, hey, this might be what you're thinking about for the platform, and this is how it's actually being used in the real world. And let's maybe close a gap if that's needed.
Nice. Yeah, one of the people on the OutSystems DevRel team with me that runs the MVP program, his name is Bruno. He's going to be on later today, I believe. I once invited him to a user group because the user group attendees wanted someone to complain to. And he's used to it from the MVPs.
We're a very vocal group.
Yes, absolutely.
We're passionate about what OutSystems can do. And sometimes that passion can come out very loudly.
And oftentimes these complaints result in an improved product, I think. So
absolutely.
So you are a chief technology architect at Zebia.
Yes.
What trends are you seeing? And I'll start you off. AI obviously is a trend, but what are you seeing in the enterprise space?
AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been interesting the past few years, especially as within the US, being US based, the enterprises are starting to adopt a lot more low code, whereas in other regions, Europe, for example, those adoptions took place earlier. So this kind of understanding that, hey, we can adopt these new technologies. Not everything has to be done in JavaScript, C# and so on. So that's definitely where a trend is coming in. Then things kind of slowed a little bit once generative AI came out for code with copilots and everything else, right? But now we're finding a lot of organizations first, they were hesitant to generative AI for copilots due to a combination of things like intellectual property concerns. Is the code that it writes does that actually belong to your organization or does it not? How do you deal with security and making sure that your code is not being used to train other models? Now, a lot of what I'm starting to see is as these companies have adopted them, they're starting to understand the code that generative AI generates is maybe not exactly what you want, because as you have these developers, especially if you bring in less experienced developers, they start generating all this code and then they don't really understand how it works. And worse is what happens when there's a bug in it. What happens when there's a security vulnerability in it? Sometimes, as developers, they're not going to know what to look for going through that generated
Absolutely.
code because they didn't write it, or maybe they don't have the experience to go through it. And even as the more senior developers, it's really easy to just say, okay, well, I'm letting it generate maybe my boilerplate and other things, and then something gets snuck in, and that's becoming a challenge to the point where a lot of organizations are even saying they are now slower with co-pilots than they were with co-pilots.
Yeah.
They're slower with having co-pilots because the amount of time it takes them in code reviews and determining problems. And so we're actually seeing a lot of organizations start to turn their co-pilots off
Interesting.
to get faster. And that's one of the really exciting things about having generative AI into something like OutSystems comes in, where instead of generating all these really low-level individualized lines of code, you're saying, okay, here's these really nice, well-established, pre-built, secure abstractions that we can now compose together. And so instead of exposing yourself to all these more increasing your attack surface for a problem, you're still using your trusted sections and throwing everything together. So you get value very quickly, and it's value that you can depend on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the AI talk in the developer space has some parallels to the advent of low code in the developer space, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a inexperienced developer using low code to make an important mission critical app, it might not come out very well. You need those expert developers with architectural knowledge to be able to execute it. And that's why we have so many great MVPs that are brilliant software developers. And the same is true of AI, right? If you have someone coming in that's inexperienced, they're going to let the AI make some poor decisions.
Yep.
But with some significant development experience, you can make it work. Awesome. We only have a few minutes left here. So what have you seen as a partner developer? What have you seen some of the biggest challenges in scaling OutSystems applications for really large enterprises, those mission critical apps?
Yeah. So I would say some of the previous challenges would usually be around the ecosystem within an enterprise, where most enterprises aren't going to come in and only have OutSystems. They've got all these different technologies, and whenever you have 14 standards or 14 things, you bring in another one, now you just have 15 instead of reducing, right? So that's kind of always been one of the challenges. We've got some light here from the windows. And now one of the challenges as we go to scale is kind of this migration from OutSystems 11 into ODC. It's new. It's a different architecture. So there's places where architects now have to say, we did things this way. Now I have to understand ODC is designed this way, how it supports microservices, things like that. And so there has to be a bit of an adoption of these newer ways of doing things. And those are kind of the current challenges in the OutSystems space, is understanding the right way to build for the future. And then in the enterprise space, just globally, of course, there's all those challenges that I was mentioning regarding generative AI, and where it generates maybe not the best things and introduces some troubles for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm asking a lot of the MVPs this question, but do you have advice for developers that either are new to OutSystems and watching to see what the conference is all about, or not familiar with OutSystems and maybe want to dip their toes in the low code space?
Yeah, of course. My biggest advice is try it. Like I said, with my journey, I was thinking, so some background is my organization was a big Java shop, very used to big and slow projects. And we wanted to look at different ways of doing things. And I was told to look at OutSystems. And I said, all right, well, that's not what I want to do, but okay, I'll go and just prove that it's not going to meet my needs, right? And I tried it, and I gave it a real try. and kept using it. So the amount of value that you can add, you know, if you just want to write lines of code, maybe it's not the right solution. But if you want to provide real value and get some real satisfaction with your job and your career, then how quickly you can do things in OutSystems is a fantastic way to go, and just give it a try. There's no harm in trying it.
Nice. All right. Any agenda points you're looking for today? Any speakers that you're looking forward to seeing? Oh, all of them, of course.
At Zebia, we've got two fantastic speakers here. One of them is actually talking about scaling into enterprise applications and managing security and things like that. So I'm looking forward to his.
Nice.
All the sessions around OutSystems Mentor are very exciting as well, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've got a lot of product speakers today. Awesome. Anything else you'd like to share with the community?
I would just like to say, you know, get involved. I really appreciate all the opportunities that I've been given in being a community member, and there's a lot of fantastic people. Many of them are right behind me. But just because you couldn't make it here, you know, get on the forums, get into user groups, just start communicating with people. It's a great group of people.
All right. For everyone at home, what advice do you have to them about attending a conference or not?
Do it. I mean, if for nothing else, just hearing different people's perspectives on everything that you asked me, for example, and how they're using technology or what challenges they're dealing with, it is a fantastic experience to just really get involved and start meeting people. Of course, the product sessions are amazing as well. But nothing really compares to going to a conference and speaking to everyone just as they're walking by, just kind of stopping someone and be like, hey, you know, I'm Craig St. Jean, you know, what do you do? And just interacting.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Craig. This was great. I will see you probably later today at the MVP Lounge. I need to take a break to go apply some sunscreen, clearly. But up next, we're going to have a quick video, and then Cecelia will be back to run a panel with our MVPs, including the aforementioned Bruno. Thanks again.
Thank you.
When I was studying, I hadn't heard great things about low-code just because people in my university like doing things from scratch. And I had this thought that by not doing things from scratch, I would be limited. But in development, we constantly talk about the concept of reusability. So by interacting with the platform, I quickly realized that I was afraid of the things that I actually try to implement in my own code. And by reusing technology that I don't need to be rewriting every time, I could actually free myself to think about things that I didn't have time to think before. My skepticism wasn't rooted on anything specific because I just wasn't familiar enough with the platform. It was just on the idea that by having the control to do things from scratch, I would always get a better result. But that is not the case anymore for the current technology landscape. We can reuse a lot of the stuff that we have done. We don't need to know how to write some tags from HTML from scratch. We can just speed up our work. You can spend a whole year trying out to deploy an application with a high-level programming, but in 2 months you can have an MVP developed and deployed to production without systems. So it's a trade-off. If you have your concerns, well, you're just missing 2 months in your agenda. So give it a try.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is I, Cecelia Martinez. Thank you so much to Eliza for running the stream for a little bit. I am excited to be back, and I'm excited to be here with two amazing guests who are involved with our MVP program. So Bruno, Martinho, and Joao, welcome. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, welcome, everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, now the party can start. Now we have all, you know, that y'all are here. I know that you have a lot of fun experiences here at One and a lot of things that are going on with the MVP program. Bruno, can you start by introducing yourself?
Yes, for sure. So first of all, thank you for having me here. Well, my name is Bruno Martinho. I've been working at OutSystems for almost 10 years now. And well, I've done a little bit of everything from services to engineering, but now I'm managing the MVP program in the developer relations team. And basically that's what I'm doing.
Bruno is the person I always go to when I have a question.
Yes, because I always know who is the person to send Cecelia to ask for the answer.
Absolutely. And Joao, welcome. Introduce yourself, please.
Thank you. So my name is João Pereira. I work with OutSystems since 2016. I'm currently working as a tech lead at Entity Data UK and I. So I have a lot of experience with OutSystems. So from every kind of different business around the globe. I work with the US market, the Portuguese market, and now I moved to the UK since 2020. So I've been there in the last couple of years now. So it has been a good journey so far.
Oh, it's amazing. What part of the UK are you in?
I'm from London.
Oh,
so
great.
Straight from the capital to the Netherlands.
Excellent, excellent. Great. Well, yeah, welcome to the Netherlands. How has the environment, Joao, been for you at the conference so far here?
I think the energy is very good so far over here. I feel that everyone is excited what is coming in, what is coming out, and see old friends is always good to be on, like a family environment.
Right. And for those of you at home, there's an MVP booth that we have here on the expo floor right behind us. And so that's been a place for everyone to connect. Bruno, have you had a chance to spend some time there and hang out with some of the MVPs?
Yes. So one of the big perks here in the conference is the MVP lounge. I've been there for a while with seeing some familiar faces that I didn't see probably 1 year ago from the last conference. And it's really nice to share, some of the experience that people have been having, just telling stories of what's happening out there. So it's been a really interesting day so far.
Great. Well, we're going to talk all about the MVP program in this session here. But to get started, Bruno, what is the MVP program? What does that mean?
I would say now, so Cecelia, that's a very good question. So the MVP program is a program that OutSystems created to recognize the most influential community members that to help the community or help OutSystems to build a better product. So from all the people from the community, these are the ones that stand out from their work. It's their work on their free time to help others. And this is a way to recognize that effort and to give them the recognition they deserve.
Amazing. And what is the MVP journey like? What has that been like for you? Yeah.
So for me, I think it was a long journey to be so far. And I am not afraid to say that I was not entering the first time that people nominate me because it's a lot of talent around the globe. But for me, it was like really focusing on what I wanted to do. So I really focus on product and talking because I'm doing a lot of talks. Like I spoke at one last year. I'm also an OutSystems user groups organizer back in London. So all that work with community talks, and basically for me, the point was try to extend the community, but also extend the OutSystems platform to achieve even more and more along the years.
And that's a good point because there's a lot of different criteria that goes into becoming an MVP. As you said, it's competitive. Yeah. So congratulations on being an MVP. But there's also a lot of different paths that you can take and a lot of ways that you can qualify. So Bruno, what are some of the ways that you can become an MVP and what are some of the different ways that you can show your commitment to the community?
Okay, so another great question. Thank you. So to get the MVP award, there are several different things you can do. So we can split it in two different areas. One is helping other fellow members in the community, and the other one is to help our product being a better product. So in both cases, the person needs to be an advocate for OutSystems, of course. So on the first part of helping the community, we have different activities that can be made, like helping answering forums or organizing user groups where you can share experiences. You can also help building Forge components so other fellow developers can reuse your components, and spreading your knowledge, like writing articles. So everything that you know that you are willing to in such a way of giving free to others that could help others, that's valued. Then you have the side of helping the product, so giving feedback, participating in our research programs, to be someone that is involved and wants, to help us improve our product. So basically, it's very simple, but then in reality, it comes to be very hard because it's hard to have your day job and to have the impact that you can have in the different people. Like, for example, Joao here has with what the work he's doing in the London community, for example.
And Joao, you mentioned that, and after initially you decided to kind of narrow your focus and do a few things really well. Does that make it easier to balance the MVP responsibilities with the work that you do?
Yeah, so it's my first year as MVP. So for me, it was when I entered in this group was like I was so overwhelming with the information discussions. So for me, I was a bit lost in the beginning. So I decided, okay, I cannot have like two jobs. That is my normal job on the client, because even I am a tech lead, I really enjoy still working and developing in the daily basis, and plus the MVP. So I decided I need to focus in something. So I focus on product, talks, and the user group. So that was the path I choose to continue and to grow in even more.
Yeah, and user groups are actually a great way to get started with talks, right? People in the community can speak at user groups and share their knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. So in London, we want to open to the community. So we open like a QR code. So everyone that wants to speak, even if it's 15 minutes, they can go there, talk about a technical topic or even a more business topic. They are open to join, and is how we are going the community over there. So in the future, probably maybe a future MVP can appear from those talks. We never know.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so with the MVP program, there are some different benefits that you get. And one of them is that you learn about things earlier than the rest of the community. Bruno, I don't know if you can speak a little bit more about that and, how MVPs kind of get early access to some of those features and knowledge.
I can, yes. So since MVPs are advocating for OutSystems, it makes sense for them as people that have a lot of technical background, they have experience in the field to help us, shaping a little bit the product. So there have been several initiatives that we start designing them. Then we try to get people, to see the rough sketches. And sometimes it's hard for people to see the rough sketch because, well, it's still rough, right? But the MVPs have that. They need to have that capacity, of understanding they're still on the design phase and help, shaping the product. So one of the things that we see in the keynote, we did some sessions with MVPs to get their feedback, to see what would be the response to it in order to do the best possible work. And well, that's what helps us, to try to get as much as possible product aligned with what the market needs.
Yeah, I can give a quick example. Yeah. So the AI agent builder, I tested the first versioning and give some feedback that actually now the AI agent builder got our feedback implemented, and that is a really cool part of seeing it. So you give your product opinions, oh, I like this and this, and actually they listen and they are actually implemented on the final product to all the community.
Yeah, and so that must be kind of a big sense of responsibility and giving feedback that, may make it into the product or will make it into the product, and how that will affect other developers. What is the sense of responsibility that you feel as an MVP for supporting product development and then also the community as well?
So part of the responsibility is to know that it's not our product and it's a product that needs to talk to everyone. So, and sometimes the feedback can be very specific for us. So what I'm trying to do and giving my ideas is ideas that are more global and not specific to me. So can branch more bunch of people instead of I just want this because I'm picky. So yeah, I think it's that kind of key responsibility that you need to think, it's just not for yourself, it's for the entire community.
Right, and that's kind of some things that we run into, right? There's always requests for anytime that you're working on something that's going to impact a lot of developers. It's how do we balance what's going to be best for most developers, right? Or the developers that are making those building a lot of applications. Now, Bruno, as you've been managing the MVP program, there's obviously a lot of responsibility that goes into MVP, but we also, there's some benefits involved, and we try to recognize them as much as we can. What are some of the things that are happening, here at the conference that we're doing for the MVPs?
So one of the things is, and I probably say that I think we have a really nice MVP lounge. Okay, so MVPs, we want to treat them in the way that they feel that OutSystems as a company appreciates them. So we have, for example, a VIP lane that they could use to enter the conference. We have the lounge where we'll have where they can stay. We have some drinks, some refreshments there. I was going to say drinks, but it's refreshments.
Yeah,
Let's not confuse
not
the
disclose
concept.
everything. Yeah.
And a place to stay. Then there are some other perks, like I know there's going to be a party, and I know it's going to be some VIP entrances in the party. But one of the things that I would like to highlight is that after the conference ends, we are going to have what we call the MVP Summit. So we're going to gather our MVPs with our product and engineering teams all in the same space, to discuss what's the product going to look like, get them to know the C-level of the company, for example, and, just networking, because one of the things that we want with the MVP program is to have a community that is a valuable community inside the community for the MVPs to get to know the other MVPs and take advantage of that. So if there's MVPs that are really good in or in a business part or any technical, maybe I can reach out to them and also improve my own knowledge. So yeah, the MVP Summit will do that, and that's the kind of things we'll have here in the conference.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how tight knit the MVP group is, and how much, because really you'll have a lot of similar experiences.
Yeah.
You are power users of the application, of OutSystems. You have a lot of expertise in it. You're dealing with really complex problems, and you're being able to communicate with each other must be really valuable.
Yeah, exactly. And like Bruno said, because we are on the field, for me, for example, I'm doing projects. So sometimes I ask Bruno, I'm having this trouble and I implement this solution. Can we talk with the product to see if they can be more generalized, because it could be a common problem for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
And in terms of perks, I can show it to the camera. This year we got the MVP passport. Mine, because it's first year, doesn't have many stamps, but the dinosaurs of MVP program, they have a lot. So
yes,
keep tuned.
Well, good. Yes, first year, so it'll only get better, and keep that passport really close. So thank you so much for both of you for being here to talk about this amazing program. Anything else that you'd like to add?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you can get first.
So I think it just keep growing the community, and who knows, you guys could be the next MVP. So keep pushing, keep extending OutSystems to the limit, and you see that all the community is going to support you in any other way.
Amazing. Great way to end the panel. And thank you so much again for being here on Decoded Live. And we will be right back with Rodrigo Coutinho. So please make sure not to tune away.
So thank you for having us here.
Thank you all. Thank you, Cecelia.
All right, welcome back. I'm so excited to welcome co-founder Rodrigo Coutinho to Decoded Live. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, super excited to have you here. And so, as someone who has spent the past 2 decades working on OutSystems and being as part of this community and building it to what it is today, how exciting is it to be at an event like this, Event One?
Oh, it's completely amazing. So the sheer dimension of it, the number of people that are here, the enthusiasm, everything, it's incredible. I mean, I've been to a few of this since the beginning of OutSystems. We've had, we very early started with these conferences, but it was 2 rows of people, right? Nothing like this dimension and the amount of stuff we announced. So these events are amazing. Are really a great way to get in touch with everyone.
And I think one of the things that I really love about conferences and this event specifically is this shows the commitment of OutSystems to the developer community. You know, why are events like this so important to the developer community?
I think it's very important to bring the community together in a physical place and have them talk to each other and just discuss the things they have been doing in terms of projects, in terms of the things they find out. It's completely different to have these encounters on digital, like on Slack or even on Zoom. Being in a conference and actually meeting the person, being there, having a coffee and discussing the latest things that they found out, it's completely different. So I think it's very important. I really think it's a great opportunity for people to be together.
Yeah, and I think I always call that the hallway track, right? You know, it's you run into somebody, maybe you just came out of the same session and you are excited about the topic and are able to discuss that. And so that's also why I'm really excited that we're able to bring some of the experience to people at home with this live stream and be able to do some interviews with some of the speakers, talk about what some of the topics are so people at home can also be a part of that experience and engage in that discussion. So obviously, you know, the big excitement today, this morning, was the announcement of Mentor. Can you talk about how this is kind of a game changer for software developers and why it's so important?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, definitely, it was personally for me, it was the highlight of the morning. We were all, of course, very anxious about it, wanting to make sure we did a good show and truly showing what Mentor can do for everybody, which is not always easy in such a short time, in such a short demo. But the impact I think it will have, specifically the app generator, for instance, is this ability to take a requirement document, uploading it, and have AI do the first cut of the work for you. It will be a game changer in the sense that you can be talking with your business user, you can just have an idea, and suddenly you have an application to show, which is much different than having just a few sketches, right? So instead of going through the design on the wall part of the process, you can immediately have something running, try it out, make sure it fits what the other person was thinking about. So I think it's going to be a great communication tool between the business and developers. And then, of course, as you move along, and you have the app editor that allows you to make the tweaks on the application and then really fine tune it to exactly what the business wants. I think it will lead to meetings where instead of coming out with decisions, you come out with products. So I think that's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit earlier in the kind of the kickoff panel with Logan about how this is really taking the idea of the software development lifecycle and like ripping it apart and starting from scratch, right? And so instead of thinking around how we have to design code and design our application and make it into code, then test it and then release it, we're able to essentially bypass that process and go straight from idea to execution. And that is something that I think is a really radical departure from how we think about how software is created. And so you also mentioned something around having a shared language. And I think having that abstraction is something that will allow for us to just not talk about code, but talk about outcomes. And that's really been exciting for me to see.
Yeah, I think that's what will happen. So I'm very excited to see how these tools can be used as a way to help people communicate rather than just be coding. You are actually communicating with the business and building something together.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm curious, obviously OutSystems has implemented AI in different parts of the platform, right? We have the AI agent builder, we have AI Mentor Studio with code analysis. And so how does Mentor in this new this new revolutionary version fit into the overall strategy for AI at OutSystems?
Well, the strategy was always to have a coherent set of tools that would help developers throughout the entire software development lifecycle. But turns out we had to start slow and evolve it. So we began with small helps at the editor level to help you code. Or for instance, AI mentor system that would help you detect problems in your code and fix them faster. But our vision has always been to have a complete lifecycle view of all of this. And of course, even having the several parts of the lifecycle affect each other. So when you're validating code, of course, then you want to help the developer do those changes in its application. So this idea that AI is present throughout the entire lifecycle was what led to Mentor. So it was the strategy all along, actually, to get to that point. But now we're ever so closer to delivering really a truly seamless experience.
Yeah, it's actually, it almost mirrors the experience that developers will go through using it, because they'll iterate, they'll be able to establish some proof of concepts, but they'll all have those building blocks that then have that composable architecture for the entire full stack software development lifecycle application process. So I think it's something that people are going to be really excited to get their hands on. So the early access being, announced today, I'm sure people have already started requesting their invites. The other thing that was mentioned, you talked about validation of the code, and with OutSystems approach to AI, we've always kind of incorporated concepts like security, governance, data privacy, maintainability directly, in from the ground up. And why is that such an important best practice for developing applications?
Well, it's important because it's something that takes a lot of time and a lot of work for developers and for enterprises to do correctly. So it requires a big investment. And it's a hidden part of the work,
Yes.
As I mentioned, what we want to do is deliver applications fast and have this conversation going with the business. And if you need to focus on the details of securing your application or optimizing for performance and so on, you are actually not delivering the value the business wants. So it's very important that you offer these things as much as possible out of the box and without the developer needing to think about them. They're just there and working, and that will accelerate a lot how much you can deliver and the quality of the things that you can deliver.
Yeah, I think something that kind of gets brought up a lot for traditional development with high code is the idea of addressing tech debt, right? And you have to carve aside time to address tech debt because there's always tech debt in your system. And those are typically the things like, are we accessible? Are we secured? Are we have correct different architecture processes in place to ensure quality code? And without OutSystems, you're able to essentially remove that category of tech debt and not have to spend time on it, which I know as somebody who's had to fight, at previous roles for making sure that we are addressing code quality, I think it's really amazing that just happens for you and it scans for you. And so I know, in addition to being here at ONE, you've been very busy lately at a lot of different events and conferences, speaking about, thought leadership in AI and software development. What are some of the trends that you're seeing at these events?
So one of the main things I've seen is that so when Gen AI showed up, everybody was very excited, and it was a lot about the technology. So so the conversation was, we need to have Gen AI, we need to implement Gen AI, without even knowing how or what use cases it was good for. And of course, there was a lot of hype. So the expectation was that Gen AI would solve every problem. So it didn't really matter what people were trying to do. They would turn to Gen AI as a possible solution for that problem, even if it was by far not the best choice. And so what I'm seeing as times have been evolving is that people are much more focused on the use case and in the value. So the conversation is much more, how can we use Gen AI to augment value, like increase productivity, increase the quality of the work that we do, or we have people that are doing work that's really not interesting, that repetitive work, and we want to save them. So the conversation is shifting much more to the use case, and there's a much greater awareness of the capabilities. So the conversation has shifted from, we can do anything with Gen AI, here's a silly problem and let's solve it, to, oh no, now I know what it does, and so I can make the best possible use of these technologies.
And so what are some of those use cases that you're seeing? What are some of the things that you've seen users been able to implement that's been a catalyst for their business outcomes?
So a lot of different use cases, for instance, in terms of things like helping people find information. So AI is great at that, right? If you have a bunch of documentation and you need to find something, AI can help you a lot. And this is good for things like ticket deflection that can save a lot of time from your support team, or even for someone working at the company and they need to know something simple like, how do I book my vacations, and nobody's going to read through the policies of the company to find that out. They will ask someone from people. And having this ability to, instead of bothering someone, doing it through AI is a great catalyst. Other use cases are translations, for instance. These new tools are very good at doing translations from any language, and we just announced that, for instance, we're translating our community right now from 16 different languages. This wouldn't be possible without these technologies. You have a lot of stuff in terms of content summarization and validation. So, for instance, being able to look at a CV and understand if it's properly formed, if it's not spam, I didn't know this, but talking with a guy that does this for a living, a lot of people send CVs that are spam. So you can check all the stuff and even do something which is matching content. So for instance, in the case of the CVs, then you want to match it with the job. And GenAI is also very good for that.
Oh, great.
So instead of you requiring a person that needs to know all the job openings and needs to go through the CVs, you just have the machine do all this work much quicker and without somebody just burning the eyelashes, you know?
Yeah, and it goes back to the concept of just, abstracting away the tedious things so that you can focus on the complex business
Correct.
problems that need to be solved. I love that. And so, what's been your proudest moment this year with OutSystems?
That's always very tough to answer, but I would say that it was today. So the launch of Mentor, it's been like the end. Well, it's going to be the start actually of another journey, but it was the end of a big effort from a lot of people in a lot of different teams. We had a lot of collaboration from customers, from partners. The R&D team was amazing. We had a tremendous work done with the marketing team to prepare all of this. And it resulted in this demo that we saw today. And we're all very happy about it. And now we really want people to start using it. We want to start gathering feedback because I always love to see what people do with our product because they always surprise us. So I'm very curious to see what will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking in the last panel about, how that feedback from users who are really familiar with the platform can be so valuable in helping to drive it forward. And people are definitely excited. I mean, I see actually, comment here in the chat from Rahul. Mentor is amazing and excited to use it through the early access program. So people
I'm
are
very
ready.
excited to have your feedback.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, again, so much for being here on the panel to talk about Mentor and dig into some of those use cases. I think we're really only at the beginning of seeing what people can build with AI.
I agree.
And it's exciting to see that OutSystems is at the forefront of that. Is there anything else that you'd like to add for people watching at home?
No, I don't think so. This has been a great conversation. So thank you so much. And thank you for being there.
Well, we appreciate everything and your insights and for everything that you do, here at OutSystems. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Well, everyone stay tuned. We will be right back with André from our product team. Make sure that you stay close to the mic. All right, welcome back. It is Cecelia Martinez here. Very excited to welcome André from our product team. Welcome to the stream.
Hi, Cecelia. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks so much for being here. Can you introduce yourself to the audience at home?
Sure. So, André Vieira, I'm a product manager with OutSystems, but I've had different roles. I've been with OutSystems for a while. Started with professional services, handed over to the academy, running training and certifications, and then moved into product management.
Oh, excellent. And so what product areas do you focus on now?
So currently I'm a director of product management for the ODC product, for OutSystems Developer Cloud. I run the teams that handle all the outcomes related with the software development lifecycle, application development, data integrations, application lifecycle management, identity and governance. So there's a wide spread of outcomes that my teams cover.
You're speaking my language. I love, so obviously I'm a developer, I come from a developer background, but I've always been really interested in the other aspects besides app development when it comes to deploying software. I come from a testing and a DevOps background. So I think there's really a lot of exciting things that OutSystems does in those spaces that we don't always talk about as developers. And so was it something in particular that drew you to those areas to focus on, or?
Well, not as a career. I would say that I usually, I actually have this in LinkedIn. I say that I'm a problem solver by heart.
Okay, yeah.
So where the challenges are is where I want to be. And I know that there are a lot of challenges, not only on the full stack development, but also on the full life cycle of applications. So there's a ton of things that teams have to handle
to take their applications to production and to managing them and to maintain them running for the users. And that's what drawn me to this area.
Great. Yeah, I love that idea of like going where the problems are
Yeah.
and wanting to solve those complex problems. I think that's what a lot of OutSystems developers want to do too. They want to not focus on the tedious things and the the boilerplate. They want to get to the real meat of the problems. And so, well, you mentioned you've been at OutSystems for a while. I think I looked it up, and it's around 18 years.
18 years.
18
yeah.
years. Wow.
Hard to believe.
So, I mean, how has OutSystems changed over that time? What kind of developments have you seen?
Well, it changed in size, definitely.
Yeah.
So we were a much smaller group back then. I think as a company vision, we haven't changed that much. So our vision has been pretty stable. We always wanted to disrupt how software is done and how projects are delivered, and that they can be delivered on time and on budget. So that's why we bring the abstraction and the acceleration with our products. That hasn't changed that much, but the size of the company, definitely that changed. Yeah.
Yeah, and you must like working here to stay so long. What is one of your favorite things about working with OutSystems?
I think again it goes back to the challenges,
Yeah.
right? So we have products that disrupt an industry. So we brought visual development when visual development was not really seen as a good solution for IT. We brought agile development when agile was not considered. It was like this is utopia. No one is going to work this way. Now we've been on the forefront of many of these disruptions like AI, and that's why I love working with OutSystems, because we can actually be at the forefront of all of these challenges and bring solutions to our customers that help them achieve their goals.
Yeah, it's like you never have to get bored because you're always
Never
working
get
on
bored
something new.
being a product manager at OutSystems, that's for sure.
That's really awesome. Well, I want to get into a specific topic, and so that's modernizing legacy, applications and systems, because that is one of the most impactful use cases for OutSystems that we see, and it's a big, difficult problem for a lot of organizations. So, why does OutSystems work so well for this particular issue?
Well, you see, I think it goes back to, again, the abstraction and the acceleration that we bring into the software development lifecycle. If you think about legacy modernization, you have these big monolithic systems where organizations have invested a lot of time and a lot of money, and they've been blocked out of changing those systems, right? So they need to take the step forward. But again, it's a big problem. These are big monolithic systems, and you need to tackle those. You need to bite-size the problem, and nothing better than having a platform that relies on abstraction, on acceleration, with all the AI that we had infused, so that you can tackle these problems in different iterations, and you can continuously change the software that you're delivering and progressively migrate this big monolithic system into a modern technology, a modern architecture that that is going to be able to be changed in the future. So it's going to stand better the test of time than the system that they are locked in at the moment.
Yeah, I think you spoke to to two things there that caught my attention. One, the first is the idea that it can be really intimidating with these monoliths, right? People think that they have to tear everything down from scratch and rebuild it. And the fact that OutSystems lets you have a more iterative approach where you can take things piecemeal, that can be really reassuring for these organizations. The other thing that you mentioned too is how a lot of things are built into the platform that can make it more difficult to modernize, such as security, governance, privacy, best practices. Can you speak a little bit more about that aspect of for OutSystems and modernization?
Yeah, so although not exactly my area, but the way that we've built OutSystems Developer Cloud and the way that we build our products is actually to get customers to start already ahead of the curve. So there's a lot of functions already supported by the platform that you don't need to worry about. So if you look into OutSystems Developer Cloud, if you had to start from scratch, there would be a ton of skill set people you need to gather in order to build a platform where then you could do the transformation you need and to move that legacy system into a new application or a collection of services and applications. So that's already a big point, a big plus, I would say, with OutSystems Developer Cloud. You're not starting from scratch. You already have a platform where you can implement your governance models, you can onboard your teams to start developing that process.
Yeah, going to different conferences around kind of centered around cloud and around DevOps and around internal platforms. There's entire teams, talks, conferences dedicated to building up all of those things that OutSystems just provides. And so I think that's a really big advantage.
Yeah, a lot of customers actually, I would say the more mature customers and customers that have access to this type of skill set, they actually build platform teams inside of their organizations to build these platforms for their developers. So that's basically what I wouldn't say replacing, but that we're democratizing to many other organizations that don't have access to that skill set. IT is kind of an industry that's always been in the shortage of manpower or women power, if you like, and skills, right? So nothing better than having some of these skills available to everyone so that they have the chance also to do this type of projects.
Right. And so I hate the idea of organizations saying, oh, we don't have the ability to implement security the way we want to because we don't have the team for it. And this gives them that ability to do that. And so let's talk a little bit about ODC and specifically the fact that it's a cloud native platform, because that's something that maybe some of the people watching from home aren't as familiar with or haven't worked with. So what are the benefits are there to using a cloud native platform like ODC for legacy modernization?
Well, cloud native is basically an architecture that takes benefit not only of the architecture of the applications, the loosely coupling of the components of the architecture, but also takes benefit of pre-existing services. Okay. And that's what we've bundled with OutSystems Developer Cloud. So there's a ton of services from CDNs and whatnot that developers need to worry about that we pre-bundled with the product itself. So with developers, what we want them is to focus on the functional requirements, not necessarily on the non-functional requirements, right? So with a cloud native platform, they get those benefits. They can use those capabilities right away, but then we abstract them with low code. Yeah. So we make them more accessible so that they don't have to go to the nitty-gritty details of all those technologies in order to be able to leverage the capabilities that they provide.
One of the things I like about that as well is that you are already set up for success early. So you don't have to worry about, oh no, we built it this way. And then now later on, okay, now we need to implement an autoscaler. Now we need to add a load balancer. Now we need to implement a CDN. We need to do all of, we need to add all these services in. And if architecture wasn't set up from the beginning to support that type of infrastructure, then that's where you run into some of those issues. And so I think that the great thing is no matter where you're starting, no matter how big you scale, you'll already be supported and set up for that with that cloud native. And so I kind of touched on this a little bit in the beginning about how a lot of people focus on app development when they think about low code, right? You think of low code, you think of drag and drop, you think of action flow, all those things in terms of building the application UI and logic. But how does low code fit into other parts of the software development lifecycle?
So again, if you think about the way that you handle the life cycle of applications, we think that low code and AI, because we're in an event where we're all talking about low code and AI, they can bring a lot of benefits into the different stages of the life cycle of applications. Either being in how you deploy applications. So we've always been, well, not always, but from a long time, we've decided that our platform is not only full stack, it's full life cycle. And that means that we can bring abstractions into the way that you deploy applications. We handle all the impact analysis and all the dependencies and the configuration management, all of that, we take a low-code approach into. Yeah. And now with generative AI, we can also bring generative AI into the mix and provide more insights to developers and to the teams managing these applications as into what type of tests does my deployment need to run based on the changes that I did in my application, or how is my application performing in production to my users? Is it okay? Is it not okay? And if it's not okay, where should I look into? Yes. Because that's one of the issues of maintaining applications is a lot of times you don't have enough information to know where to look into. Where is the problem in my application? What is degrading the performance or the experience of my users? AI can bring a lot of value into analyzing all of this data that we provide, again, as a non-functional requirement of our platform. So developers don't have to worry about this. We instrument the applications to generate all of this logging and tracing information. And now we can put AI on top of this to give them the clue, the the map, if you like, to where they need to look into their application in order to solve bottlenecks that the application is having.
Yeah, I think, coming from an experience in the past where, you get an error message, a flag is triggered, you don't necessarily know where in the stack it is, what caused it, to something like code analysis in ODC, where you have full stack traces client side all the way to the back end. And not only that, but it, kind of points you in the right direction. And it's only just the beginning of it, right? Yep. And I think that's something too, where there may be other, that's something you either have to implement yourself, or if you're using a lot of different types of tools across the SDLC, you have to configure and integrate all these together. And they're not speaking the same language. They don't have the same access. Whereas for these legacy systems where you may be dealing with hundreds of data sources and all different types of integration platforms that you need to integrate, having that all in one home across the, you said full life cycle. I love that. Yeah, that's a really great way to phrase it. Sounds really powerful.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so we have a few minutes left here in our segment. Thank you again so much for being here to share all your insights. Super interesting. But what are you most excited about for the future of OutSystems?
Well, I think again goes back to what Paulo mentioned in our keynote. We've always kind of been ahead of the curve in all of these disruptions. I think that's one of the benefits of working with OutSystems and working with the technology such as OutSystems is that we now can look into generative AI, and we know that we are ready to tackle that challenge. We are ready to make that technology, which is no more than a technology, available to all of our customers and to democratize it in some way to customers that probably don't have the skill sets to address it, but that can look into a platform such as ODC and see it infused in the platform and accessible for them to use in their applications and to take service out of these technologies.
Yeah, so essentially, full.
And I think if you would ask me the same last year, I would probably give you the same answer, because it's again going back to being ahead of the curve and looking into these disruptions and being prepared for those.
Like you said, the vision hasn't changed, right?
The vision hasn't changed that much, no.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here today, and we're enjoy the rest of the conference.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, well, we will be back in a little bit. I have been Cecelia. Up next, we have Eliza, who will be joining for some more interviews. So make sure that you stay tuned after this very short video for more.
Did you bring samples of apps created in your platform? Yeah, me too. These are mine. See, this one's an internal app for expense reports, and this one is an internal app for password resets. And this one, let me guess, it's an internal app for something. Yeah, actually, I can't remember what this one does. No one really uses it, but it's done, and it works. Oh. So what about you? Oh, sure. Here is Intel's customer app. Whoa! Has over 10 million downloads and a 75% NPS score. Isn't Intel like the biggest telco in Chile and Peru? Yep. And now they're cranking out complex, high-quality apps in a fraction of the time it used to take. That's amazing. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing. Right, yeah, exactly. And then this is how transportation giant Green Cargo is overhauling and digitizing their entire legacy infrastructure. Oh my, is that a composable architecture? It is, yeah. And then this one is from Cengage. Whoa! The higher ed tech company? Yeah, I've heard of them. They extended Salesforce so they could access performance data from end user apps right there in the CRM. Wow. I mean, okay, but are they scalable? Heck yeah. And there they go. They also have pixel perfect UX, security, and governance all baked right in. Of course they do. Oh, looks like it's time for my interview. Oh. All right, good luck. But, okay, and he's gone. Scalable?
Okay, welcome back. We've done another host switch on you. If we both sound a little bit out of breath, it's because my next guest, Anna from NTT Data, was just Oh, there it is. Was just being interviewed at the bottom of the stairs. I also want to say we are going to be interrupted 3 times during this interview because the break is going on right now, and there's going to be 3 warnings that the break is over. So Anna, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi there, people. My name is Anna. I will be 40 years old in December, so it's a bit weird starting a career at this age. And I'm also a mother and a wife, a mother of 2 that don't give me a break. And I started this story with this love story with technology in 2022, and it was my husband that lived with me 24 hours a day that told me that I would be a great fit for technology because he is a developer himself. So
nice.
Yeah.
Did he tell you what specific qualities about yourself that would be good for software development?
Yeah, like when I stick an idea to my mind, there is no one in the world that can stop me. So I go to the deepest. If someone told me, like, there is not a solution for this problem, I would be restless. And I also love charades and puzzles and finding a solution. And I also love to work as a team because I also learn with other people in the team because they show me other ways to think about problems, and usually they are right. And it's like, yeah, I never thought about that way. So
nice. So how long have you been coding?
I have been coding since the pandemic, since 2020.
Okay.
I was a healthcare professional. During the pandemic, I would work like 60 hours a week.
Oh my gosh.
But I would like code and learn Python to relax during the nights. Yeah, and during the breaks. And I started learning Python, but I wasn't going anywhere because I didn't have a community. So my husband told me you should get into a boot camp. I have done Le Wagon, but after the boot camp, I was a bit lost.
Yeah.
And then I saw an amazing community in Portugal for girls and women to learn to code called As Raparigas do Código. And they helped me a lot to find my way. Then I was hired by PwC, and they told me that I should learn OutSystems, and that's where my career started.
Nice. That's so exciting. So you didn't do a ton of professional development with sort of traditional code before moving into OutSystems?
Only Python.
Okay.
And I started to learn a bit of JavaScript, but it wasn't a traditional path at all.
Okay. Yeah, definitely not a traditional path. Do you think that benefits you when you work with OutSystems, or?
Yeah, because I tend to think about outside the box. Like it's different. Sometimes I look at other colleagues of mine that had a traditional path, and I always think about things like, why don't we do it like this way? And why? I'm always asking why. Because we always have done it like this. But why? Yeah, I'm the girl with the whys.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're a mom and you have a husband. What's been your experience having that sort of in your personal life working in tech?
It's very hard. I don't try to glow, but it's really hard because as a woman, as a mom, you cannot have it all, and sometimes you have to make choices, and sometimes it's like me being here at One is very fulfilling for me, Anna, but sometimes my heart says a bit like very stiff thinking about my kids.
Of course.
But like, I can only be a good mom if I'm being good with myself first.
Absolutely.
So, but it's hard, and every day is a choice. Every day I make the choice. I want to be a good coder. I want to get the very best solution for my client, and that's a choice that I make every single day, every hour.
Nice. So what would you give to other women thinking about that career change? that maybe also have a family?
Don't try to control it, girls. Please don't try to control it. Ride the wave and like be humble. You don't know. Don't pretend you don't know things. Like my mantra is like someone will help you out. There is someone that will be good to you, and someone in that sea of people will help you. We at NTT Data, we have at Wednesdays, we have a session called Ask the Experts. And usually I'm one of the few with the camera on and like, help me out, guys. I don't know how to do this. And thanks to that, I have made a lot of good connections inside the company.
Nice. So I was really impressed when I watched the video demo of your recent project, Tech Bloom Her. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, Tech Bloomer. First of all, I'm very proud of that app. We did it without the PO, without the product owner, without the designer. I did the front end. We talked with our organization, with our benefit, which is, of course, as raparigas do código, and they told us that they needed a platform to manage users and also to have a fastest way and smart way to get the good volunteers and the good mentors. So we designed Tech Bloomer that uses AI to validate CVs and also to help them manage the platform, helping them match with also for students to get the CV match with the jobs and also the activities, not only workshops, but other activities that the community provides.
Amazing. So this project was part of the Build for the Future hackathon, correct?
Yes.
Nice. What was it like participating in that?
It was really, really hard. But like I said, when I stick something to my mind, I go to the end. So was like, I told my husband, this week is for me. And you have to be a dad mom and took care of the kids.
Yeah.
And I would like work from for NTT Data from 9 till 6 p.m. And then I put that laptop, get the other one.
Amazing.
And started working sometimes at 3 a.m. Sometimes I would wake up at 5 a.m. to work on the app. And it was really, really hard. And my kids were super sad, but they really enjoyed the when I showed them the app, and I was super proud. My oldest was like, "You go, Mom!"
Yeah, I know. Working in tech can sometimes be seen as sort of like a amorphous job, like you're not really sure what mom does every day. But doing something like software development, when you are able to do the full life cycle and show off the user interface at the end, kids are excited by that.
Yeah, and not only in the days of Le Wagon, I also did a small software program to help him with his math works.
Amazing.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, Mom, you rock."
So is this inspiring him to maybe pursue coding?
I don't think so, because he's very creative. I think he would like most of like a more creative, like a designer or front ends, but not into software. Maybe my kid, my daughter would like better the software part.
Nice. So he's more of a make it pretty versus solve the puzzles kind of kid.
He also likes puzzles, but he's very, very creative to see the
interesting.
Least, you know.
Okay, all right. Well, it can take creatotivity to pull off a whole app.
Yeah.
So you are kind of new to the community, and you participated in the mentorship program we have.
Yeah.
Correct? Could you tell me a little bit about that?
I participated in the mentorship with Nuno Reis. He is my mentor. I don't know if he recalls it, but during the HUG for women, I think it was Women Plus in 2022, I was super sad because in one of my jobs, they don't give me credit for my ideas.
Oh.
So was a bit sad, and I was super sad. And he told me that I was valuable. So, and that was meant the world to me. And he always helped me out when I have questions. And he's so humble. He's an MVP, and he's like an OutSystems god. And he always take the time to help one of us girls. And he's really he's a really, really nice person.
He is. You will be able to see him tomorrow on Decoded Live.
Unfortunately, maybe not, because I have to catch a plane.
Well, maybe
But
if
I
you have
would like it
Wi-Fi
a
on
lot.
the plane, you can watch it
Yeah.
on YouTube. So Nuno is one of our most prolific mentors, but
Yeah.
we have a bunch of mentors through ADP list. If
Yeah.
anyone's interested in kind of getting a little further along in their career, getting some advice about projects they're working on right now, our mentorship program is really cool.
Yes, it is.
And the other thing you mentioned, the Woman Plus user group, we have a user group for Woman Plus at usergroups.outsystems.com. We meet about quarterly, and there's always a really great speaker talking about career, talking
Yeah.
about balancing everything. I highly recommend signing up. You can do that at usergroups.outsystems.com. So we've only got about 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask, what are you most excited about your future career with OutSystems, your journey with the platform? And
It's like everything about OutSystems excites me. Like now the mentor program allows you to pivot ideas and start doing all over again way faster to meet the client requirements. For me, is that it's not like I don't watch the mentor program like they are going to steal my job. No, stupid. Sorry. Sorry about that. But it's not just allows you to make your work faster to meet client requirements. And also the ability to see the code like in a visual manner that has like accompanied OutSystems since the early days. To me is the more important part.
Yeah.
And I really liked working with OutSystems.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We just had one of the, I guess, architects of mentor talking on our last segment, and it's very exciting, though confusing because the DevRel team has the mentorship program, which is human mentors, and then we have the mentor feature in ODC, which is a sort of digital mentor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so were you able to catch any of the sessions today?
The part of the technical sessions? No, I didn't have the time because I'm working.
Oh no. Yes, I did see you when I was trying to keep an eye out for our guests. I saw you working right over in the partners booth there. Yeah.
But next to the decoded because
yeah.
But I'm
Very
trying
convenient.
I will try during the afternoon to catch up.
Nice.
Because they are trying to migrate their factory to ODC. So
Ooh,
it's
exciting.
really, I try to learn about all things about ODC to make the change easier for them.
Nice. Now, is this your first one conference you attended, or
No,
OutSystems Conference?
I went to Lisbon last year.
Lisbon last year was really fun. I only got to see day 2, but the energy was great there too.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you see any differences between those two conferences?
Yeah. In Amsterdam, it's bigger.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's bigger. It's more. I don't know. Sorry, well, I'm Portuguese, but I have to tell the truth, guys. It's like the atmosphere here is more outgoing.
It is.
And more laid off.
Yeah. I will say the big difference between this year and last year is that this year we have more developers here, but we also have all of the business customers here. So the sort of heads of IT, not just the developers.
Yeah.
So they're getting to experience what a developer conference looks like for the first time instead of being quarantined from us, I guess I'll say. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you
this
for
was
the
really great.
opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Up next, I have Carina, another one of our One conference speakers.
Yeah.
So she'll be here in just a moment. Thank you
Okay.
again.
Thank you.
Bye. Carina has just stepped in. I have to be honest, this is my first time laying eyes on her, so this will be a fun chat, I think. I'll let you introduce yourself, though.
Hi, I'm Carina. I work with Ava Consulting in Norway, and I am OutSystems platform lead there and manager.
Nice. Welcome to the stream. So I will just say, I believe our announcements are done. We just had 3, so I think we're done. We're safe for a while. We also have just lost the glare of the sun. You came at a perfect time.
Awesome, thank you.
So you're originally from the Netherlands, but now based in Norway, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so how has it been kind of coming back to the home country for One?
Oh, it's lovely.
Wonderful.
It's a great location and we have great
is.
weather, right?
It is. I know. I spent the last, I think 5 days in Amsterdam, and now looking outside, perfectly blue skies. It's going to be, sorry for all the Europeans, but it's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but you'll have to look it up. And I am eternally jealous that I'll have to be on this mic most of the day while you all maybe get a few times to step outside and enjoy the weather.
I'm sure you will still afterwards.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I will run out that door. No one will be able to stop me. So how are you enjoying the conference so far?
It's actually great. It's so great to physically be together with people who you've had so much interaction with, because we all work internationally in one way or another.
Yes.
Between OutSystems itself, with partners, with customers, with champions and user groups, all of us work together so broadly, but not always physically.
Yeah.
So that is the best thing about this conference every year.
Nice. I love that answer. This kind of goes into what you just said, but why do you think events like these are important to the developer community?
It very much goes into the last question. Yeah. When you can interact physically and share knowledge, you can take home so much more than your own perspectives
That's
and
very true.
experiences and apply that into your projects, into the customers that you work with, into what is relevant for your day to day. So I love bringing this back to our colleagues and to spread the knowledge.
Very well said. Very well said. I feel like a lot of people work remotely now, and it's kind of hard to convince, especially, I got to call you out here, developers in the US don't want to come to user groups, are reluctant to come to our events in the US. But I think it's so exciting to get that time in person to talk to people. And for people like me who work remotely, kind of in the middle of nowhere, it's really nice to get that interaction and those fresh perspectives. And I'm hoping those of you at home are enjoying fresh perspectives from our guests today. Yeah. So you are speaking at the conference today. Or tomorrow? Is it
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Okay. I keep doing that. I keep assuming everyone's speaking today.
It's a big agenda with many talks.
It is. It's yours is called Steps to Successful Data Migration. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So with my company, Ava Consulting, we've been working with smaller and larger data migrations over the last years, not only with OutSystems, but also with other low-code technologies, so integration platforms and robotic process automation, but also OutSystems and app development. And in the last 2 years, in a very large project, I myself have had lead on part of a very large data migration with millions of rows of data, of all sorts of data involved. So I'm sharing some experiences and perspectives that may make other people's data migration journey easier.
Nice. Many watchers at home are hoping to go to future ONE conferences. I hope. Tell me if I'm wrong from the chat if you're not interested, but I hope so. And they may be interested in speaking at a future ONE conference. What was the process like to?
Oh, it was to apply. It was actually relatively involved because you had to prepare a decent bit to be able to send in a proposal to be able to speak. So you had to write a decent amount, and it was handy to prepare well. But once you're then selected, you get so much support and guidance, and that was honestly the best part about it. The technical people from OutSystems were so helpful in preparations and dry runs and virtually, but also in person before even standing on the stage already.
Nice. So are you looking forward to the talk?
I am very much looking forward to the talk. I hope other people are too.
Wonderful. What's your career journey with OutSystems been like?
I started with OutSystems about 6.5 years ago. First as a developer and tech lead, and then I became an OutSystems champion as well. And now OutSystems platform lead, so involved in many different projects along the way, essentially.
Nice. What's your favorite thing about being an OutSystems developer?
My favorite thing is that everyone is able to be full stack, but still interested in their own specializations.
That's a great answer. So I don't think we've had a champion on yet. So we have a champions program at OutSystems, similar to the MVP program. Could you tell me about your experience being a champion?
So the champions program is for people who are in one way or another in multiple categories involved with the community. So in my part, I am a speaker champion, is events champion, essentially. So I've also spoken at multiple events before, organized user groups, and spoken at different events. It's been a while, I have to say, due to whatever circumstances. So I'm looking forward to getting back into it again.
Nice.
But there are other also categories of champions, forum champions, forge champions. So people who are very active with different parts of the community come together essentially to help each other improve and to help everyone else improve.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've mentioned a few times we have an MVP lounge, but we also have a champions lounge. Have you checked it out yet?
Of course.
Okay, good.
We have awesome people there.
Yeah, nice.
Come say hi.
Would you, what sort of advice would you give someone that's looking to kind of expand into the OutSystems community, whether it be becoming a champion or just generally contributing more?
When they're new to OutSystems?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
I think it's important to, after that first level that everyone knows about, the associate level, to start also doing your own private projects, because it helps so much to expand your knowledge of how to best do things from that base level that you first start with, and really find out what motivates you to work with most. So what kind of specialization you want to focus on, what kind of direction you want to go in when you develop yourself further with OutSystems. Because the start is really only the start. It's such a nice learning curve after that, that everyone is able to help you with.
Nice, that's amazing. So you mentioned speaking at and attending community events before, like user groups. Could you convince our audience at home to also attend events?
User groups are a very fun way for people right now, again, to physically come together.
Yeah.
We've had some virtual ones for a while due to COVID, of course. But it's very nice to get together every few months or months, depends on the region that you're in, and to learn new things.
Absolutely. What other speaking or you said you were a speaker champion. What other speeches have you given about OutSystems before?
I've spoken at more national architecture conference about integrations with OutSystems,
Very cool.
for example.
Yeah. Was it a popular talk? Were people excited about it?
I hope so.
Okay, good.
It's a bit hard to tell.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder when you're at a general conference versus specific to the software you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a few minutes left here, so I'll pivot to some more fun questions. Did you enjoy lunch? Were you able to get through that line?
I did not go for the chicken queue.
It was very long.
It was so very long.
We had a few people say that they missed lunch, either because they were working, talking to people at booths, or because they gave up on the line. But I will say to you as well, I have a bag full of protein bars over there if you're getting really hungry.
The vegetarian pasta was really good.
Okay,
that had
good.
barely any queue.
Okay, perfect. It did smell good as well. Very cheesy, it seemed. Yeah. Are you looking, other than your speaking moment tomorrow, are you looking forward to any other agenda items?
My colleague is speaking right after this that I'm going to.
Oh, very nice. What is the colleague presenting?
Yelda is also having an interview tomorrow, and she's talking about accessibility in our system.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So accessibility, designing accessibility into apps and that kind of thing. Really, really cool. Amazing.
And fulfilling regulations with that, because in more and more countries nowadays, that is by law obligated, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So how many ONE conferences do you think you've been to so far?
We had some virtual.
Yes.
And we had some physical.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly anymore.
You have no idea.
But I think for 5 years now, I've been going to these conferences, virtually or physically, at least.
How was the virtual experience?
It was actually very nice. It was nice to be able to easily watch whatever you wanted and go to whichever different section you wanted to go to instead of having to walk to every single.
That's true. This is a very big conference venue.
So many talks at the same time. It's so difficult to choose.
Well, luckily, and I've said this already on the stream, we are going to release recordings of all the streams. Again, can't tell you an exact timeline. Maybe weeks, maybe about a month. But
yeah, I look forward
to
that.
Watch them all. We usually release all the conference recordings on our training site, outsystems.com/training. You can find the talks from last year there, from ONE Lisbon. All right, we're down to 1 minute. So I just want to say, my first guest on here today was also Dutch, and he warned me you were all very efficient with your answers.
We tried.
So yeah, we immediately found that I did not have enough questions for him, but I think we did pretty good here. We filled the time.
I think so too.
Yeah,
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah,
by the way.
you as well. Is there anything else you want to share while you're here?
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was great.
Absolutely glad to be here.
Awesome. So up next, we have two excellent community members. Similar to Carina, we've got Daniel and Helene. All right, I once again switched mics, so I'm hoping I sound much more exciting now. So we have here Daniel and Helene. I'll let you introduce yourself. Daniel, why don't you start?
Yeah, my name is Daniel Kuhlmann. I work as Technology Director at Product League, an OutSystems partner, and I'm an OutSystems MVP.
Very nice. And Helene?
Hi, I'm Helena Lameiro. I'm also a developer. I'm an expert engineer at NTT Data. And also, like Daniel, I'm also an MVP, and I enjoy the community.
Very nice. Well, welcome to the stream. Thank you both for being on. I will just say, Daniel is also going to be on day 2. He's got a second interview with us.
Yeah, I'm
We're
a
really
lucky guy.
We saw he was on the attendee list, and we were like, we got to get him on there. So we've invited the two of you on to chat about our sort of online and offline community, which you both have a lot of experience with. So I'm going to start with Daniel. You're a frequent contributor to the OutSystems forums. What motivates you to stay so active in helping others?
Well, I think it comes with age, and next year I'm 40 years in IT, and most part of my career, nobody helped me. I had to figure it out myself, and that's a hard job. And I think even though OutSystems is a platform, it's easy to learn, doing it by yourself, only you go so fast. So I really wanted to share my knowledge and try to help other people and answer questions. And when I joined the platform, it was for me a way to learn, because I can learn on my job and stuff, but taking other one's problems, make them mine, try to find a solution. That's how I also speed up my learning, and now I like to share.
Nice. That's great. Has there been a standout moment or interaction on the forums for you where you felt really great about your contribution?
It's when you actually help somebody, and then get the appreciation. I sometimes even get a present. It flabbergasts me that people take all that effort for something where I feel I just, I replied in 5 minutes. I don't feel like I did something big, but apparently it made a big impact. Yeah, you feel a lot of energy from that.
Amazing. I love that. So Helena, you attended a ton of OutSystems developer user groups this year and in previous years. What's been the biggest benefit you gained from attending?
So each user group has its own characteristics, and the things that you can have is the perspective of the whole community, and you don't learn the same things on each user groups.
Absolutely.
So the struggles from one country are different from the struggles from another country, and even in Portugal. And it's a very tiny country, and we have something like 4 or 5 places where user groups take place, and you have different struggles in different communities, and to have the feel to belong to those communities is something that is very rewarding too.
Nice. That's amazing. Do you feel like you have a favorite user group experience or speaker or anything like that you've seen?
It depends.
Okay.
Yeah. There's the woman user group, and I think that's kind of a very empathic. You see stories, and there's no way that as a woman you cannot relate to them, and you feel plenty of, okay, we are going to save the world, but we still don't know when. But with all that empathy, we will save the world someday. And that's one of the user groups that I feel very empathic on this. And also, I like the Portuguese ones because usually we have also the food after the moments, the one-to-one moments, and I think this is very precious. You can talk to people, real people, and they are talking to you, and they are similar to you, and they have their struggles, and they have their day-to-day, and they leave what they have done during the day working, and they go with a new perspective to the OutSystems user groups, and they share from that, and they belong to a community. That's very, very, very unique.
Wonderful. So I'm going to selfishly take a moment to say we do have an upcoming user group in New York City. If anyone from New York is tuned in, I feel like it's likely because it's only a 6-hour time difference. So it's
and
a
we will
perfectly
have
normal
one
time.
in Ladia.
Okay, there we go.
First user group in Ladia. Please, people from the Ladia area, go to Ladia on 29th of October.
29th
There
of
will
October.
be Pestejanata.
Oh,
and
we're not going to have New York.
I need to fly in.
That's the best user group that you will have on your life. So,
do you know what the topic is on the 29th?
It will be Vieira from the community
nice.
explaining what will be the new things here that happen here now.
Ooh, a little recap.
On the ONE conference. So it's not easy for people from Portugal to come here into
So we
Netherlands.
talk about this session then.
This session, yeah. What happens in behind my back? So what happens in now? Vera will make an impact session about this, and we make some kind of the highlight for the people that are working in Lady area, and they are a lot Valentic as a poll. Big companies are there. Even NTT Data, we have something like 15 people living nearby. So it's a very tiny place. We did a lot of developers there, and we will be together.
That sounds really exciting. Yeah, for November 7th in New York City, we're talking ODC. I believe we're going to get a little hands-on time, which is now a little easier because we're announced this morning that you can sign up. So Daniel, we have a ton of participation in the forums, asking questions and everything, but I think can be some hesitation for junior developers. Like, is this a silly question to ask? Do I post? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I understand. And there are no stupid questions, of course. On the other hand, you could search first. There's a lot of questions like, how can I do this? And you could put that in your browser or in ChatGPT or whatever. I think as a starter in OutSystems platform, go to the training website. That's always the first thing. Did you actually read or? And the training is so fun right nowadays.
Yeah.
I think 50 years ago it wasn't there, but now it's very easy to learn. And it's a nicer way to learn the platform than just trying it out, stumble on something, and then drop it on the forum. So on the juniors, I try to motivate them there because it's a nicer path to learn the platform. But obviously, you try to help them with the question they have.
Sure.
But I would say for junior people, take the time, take the patience and the time to do at least like one guided path. It solves so many questions you'll have in just starting without reading and learning.
Yeah, I think that's classic forum advice. Before you make your first post, do a little bit of searching, see what the vibes
It's
are
actually
like.
fun. And while you learn, you build an app. So you know,
Yeah, absolutely. The guided path is great. Yeah. So have about 6 minutes left. Just doing a time check. So you both are very active. Have you seen that level of activity help your career at all?
I was commenting this with Daniel. To have other people around you gives you perspective. And the way I'm also doing mentorship, and you have to explain things at a level that people can understand. Explaining to be understood, it's different for knowing something.
Sure.
So trying to be at the level of the person that is behind you, it's not only a humble thing, it's something that also makes you structure your knowledge and to consolidate, and this day by day will make you something better, I would say. So I really believe that helping is it's not an egoistic thing, but it helps you also. You when you give, you also have something for you too.
Absolutely, yeah. I love that. What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, well, truth to be said, this is not about my job or my career. I didn't do that. So I joined like the OutSystems ecosystem. I didn't want to spend like 10 years to get up to speed. So I did it fast. And one way to accelerate was be on the forum, actually for myself initially. And then I kind of got the vibe of actually helping others and really like that. And now I'm really busy, but I still like to help. So, you know, if I have a spare minute, like when I commute in the morning and the evening, I'll do that. But I don't think per se it's for career perspective. I already had a long career. So it's more about sharing on my side.
Nice. It's the positive benefits. Yeah. So this is for both of you, but what are your next goals, either as MVPs or in your career?
Well,
you just said you're happy where you're at. So
yeah, so one of the things I wanted to check off was having a talk. I have it tomorrow.
Nice.
I did one in 21, but it was pre-recorded due to COVID. So this is the real deal. So that one is ticked off. I still need to write an article. I still want to organize a user group. So there's a few things that I want to do. They are not hard goals, you know. When there's the opportunity, I will take it.
Perfect.
I still have to order Prestige Nata for Lady A user group. So
the next step.
The immediate goal. And then I'm dyslexic, so writing for me is something very hard. But I really wanted to do something on CI/CD this year. I want to have more perspective on the mentor, not only online but also in presential way. So that's something that I wanted to do. Still don't manage how this will be, but this can be my goal the next year. This year was only about mentorship, and it was something that, okay, let me do it. And I want to reach more people, mainly with different languages, and that's something that I like it. And that's something that people also need, because it's hard for you to have materials on their language. So
absolutely, yeah.
That's what I'm doing, Spanish and French.
Very cool. Nice. Thank you. Yeah, we're also, we've done all this AI translation work, but translating the user groups is huge. Translating all the individual buttons for the user groups. Taking a while. There's a lot of different words for register, RSVP, that kind of thing that we have to put in there. Yeah, absolutely. So before we part, is there any other message you want to leave with the watchers at home?
A good question.
I would say that if you are struggling for something, please don't be stuck.
Yeah.
There's always a way. We have you can search by myself, like Daniel, any VPP, any people from OutSystems that you find out on the station, and they are reachable by LinkedIn. Even if the first person doesn't answer because of its agenda, someone else will answer. They are contacts in LinkedIn. We have ADPs. We have the forums. You can DM people, and we are people. We are not unreachable.
Very true.
That's what we are saying, and no one on the community is unreachable. That's what I say. We are not so isolated that you cannot speak to someone else and share your struggle.
and don't be shy to ask this question you think is stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the thing is, the more you know, the more you don't know. So
Yeah, you might frustrate Daniel with an easily searchable question, but he'll give you the answer, and then you have it.
politely guide you to the right way.
Perfect. Anything you're looking forward to over the next, I guess, tomorrow? We're almost done with day one.
Well, truth to be said, I really like these events to mingle, to talk to people. I didn't talk to you like for 1 year, and I almost have no time to watch the session. I'll watch the recordings.
What about you?
I would say that there are new things around, so it's very, very important to be updated. The migration stuff to ODC, the new ODC. There's also something very cool for CICD. There are tables that they will be done tomorrow. So I don't know. You cannot be on the same place everywhere.
That's why we're happy to have the recordings.
I think that even as a TR here, we will have to get to the recorded some way. So it's an art show is even here, you know. So,
yeah, absolutely. Speaking of migration, we do have the director of product management for the sort of migration team speaking with us tomorrow. So those of you at home, make sure you tune in. Thank you both for joining me. This was really great. Loved chatting with you both. Coming up in the next hour, we are going to have a panel discussion, a chat with an OutSystems product manager, and another conference speaker. That will be right after this brief video.
Então, vamos lá. Tudo bem no Catar, não? Nunca fico confortável em falar inglês, não, mas... We're a Brazilian oil and gas company. We're one of the largest in the world. I believe that our main reason to adopt low code, it's about business agility. On the other end, we have a spread of technologies. We have more than 2,000 applications developed in many technologies. We are feeling like Roadrunner and Coyote. Coyote running, try catch the Roadrunner, but never archive. We wanna break the cycle of trying to spend a lot of effort and money to maintain the same features without helping our business. The first step was develop and maintain a center of excellence. The center of excellence is responsible to our developed patterns, to our infrastructure, to our reusable components, our design systems. They are responsible for our cybersecurity governance. When compared with traditional high-code applications, we are talking about, at minimum, 6% of improving efficiency. Some delivery partners are archiving up to 90%. We have some applications with a ROI of 15 times in 1 year. When we start training our internal employees, we are very worried about what they will think about it, because sometimes you think that, no, I studied a lot, I'm graduated, I'm developer for many years. I think that will be a barrier. But it's the total opposite. They love it. I have a senior developer, a front-end developer, and we give the training about OutSystems, and he came back and say, with OutSystems, I can be full stack. I feel like driving some manual car without air conditioner, manual radio, and now I'm in a SUV, a lot of buttons, automatic direction. Wow. Are you thinking go back? Of course, no. I love this new car. We are giving the opportunity to don't be worried about technology. So you can focus on your business. You can focus on developing some epics, features, helping your company to move directions without spouting and try and catch the roadrunner.
Perfect, and love the analogy.
Hello, welcome back to Decoded live from One. I am Cecelia Martinez, developer advocate here on the advocacy team at OutSystems. I am very excited to welcome two of our One speakers to the live stream. Hello, welcome, Adriano and Ozan. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Fine, thanks.
Great, great. Ozan, can you introduce yourself for the people at home?
Sure. Ozan Çali. I'm an OutSystems developer at Product League for almost 5 years now. I have a little bit of more experience with OutSystems, but before that, I was a backend developer with .NET.
Great, great.
Yeah.
And Adriano, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm working with OutSystems for about almost 10 years now. So I was working in the Lisbon office for 6 years, and then I joined Product League here in the Netherlands as a front-end as a front-end expert. So everything that is related with front-end, I'm the one that basically tries to fix it or do it in the company.
Yeah, so you put out a lot of fires and then you get the title of front-end expert, basically.
Yeah, some of them, yeah, and the hard ones.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about Product League. What do you work on there, Adriano?
Yes. So besides projects, normal projects for companies, big companies, currently in the retail market, we actually we were working for 4 years in an application, e-commerce application that now is live. It was a really good challenge in terms of front end. Besides that, we have our own front end guild with people that enjoy front end, and we like to share between us the challenges that we faced in our projects. And besides that, we work closely with design team also to bring everything together and work as a intermediate between the development team and the designers, because we speak the same language. It's kind of
OutSystems developers they don't usually like front end that much, so we decided to set up a guild in the company for knowledge sharing, basically.
Yeah, I love the idea of kind of sharing those experiences and sharing that knowledge. So you mentioned that you worked primarily in back end. So how did you get involved with more of the front end?
Well, I needed to do that somehow, because if you're an OutSystems developer, you're like a full stack developer. You need to be one, actually. And I was a little bit afraid of front end all the time as a backend developer. I don't think I liked it that much at the beginning, but then I realized, it serves endless opportunities. So you can do a lot of things. Now backend started to feel more boring, to be honest.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think front end can be more complicated than I think people expect, and it's also a chance to be creative with it, which I like. But speaking of the front end, your talk was about front end. So how did the talk go? It was earlier today. How do you feel?
I think all right.
Yeah, I think it went well. At least the feedback that we got was good, and it's kind of a session, a little bit different from the others, since we try to gamify a little bit the experience. And the topic for this year was more like a Street Fighter theme.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So we try to present stuff, share knowledge, and at the same time have fun with everyone. So that's our goal. Like, it's work, but at the same time you can have fun. If you always have fun, you are never work a day.
We threw a lot of information onto the audience. It was like a lot to take, but the idea was to showcase the front end capabilities. Then they can rewatch it and go into more details.
And this is the third talk in a series, correct? Yeah. So when did you do the parts 1 and 2?
So it was like 2 years ago, the first one. It was me and my colleague Rob Moyman that we did it remote, because at the time we were like getting out of COVID. And last year we had our colleagues Paulo Sulipa and Ricardo Ferreira presenting it. So the feedback was good, and this year we had the opportunity to have the third one.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I imagine if you've been able to come back and give it each year, it gets a lot of really good reception. So one of the things that I saw is this was a very popular talk because, you know, to coordinate all the guests on the stream here, we need to ask people, what talks are you going to go see so we can schedule around? And yours came up quite a bit. So
Okay. Didn't know that.
yeah. So
Good to
yeah,
hear.
so a lot of people were excited to see it. And so I think
we tried to gamify it. I think that worked a little bit. It became more exciting.
I think that I like that because, you know, software development, it can be challenging, it can be boring, it can be a little bit of both. And so I think one of the things that I like about it is that it's fun and it's always kind of pushing you. You know, it's never boring in terms of you're always learning something new, but it's not always, people don't always think of it as fun, right? So I like the idea of bringing that fun into it. And apparently people here at One like that as well. So
Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that.
now, what is the what does your preparation go like into doing a presentation like this? Maybe Ozan, you can speak to. Do you have a process to prepare for your talk, or how does that work?
Well, I had a piece of list where I added all the front-end challenges I had with my clients, and most of the things we mentioned during the talk came from them. Actually, they were real-life examples. So, yeah.
I guess that's the nice thing about working on different types of projects is that you encounter things in the real world, right?
Exactly,
and
yeah.
so a lot of experiences to draw from. I want to go back to the front end guild that you mentioned. How long has that been going on, and what types of things? Did you have meetings? Do you just share resources? What does that look like? Maybe Adriano, can you speak to that?
Yeah. So we came out with that idea. Came up with the idea like 4 years ago. So we started to want to improve a little bit the front-end knowledge within the company. And this was something that we kind of thought that would help everyone, like have a group of people that could be together, like at least schedule a weekly meeting to share some experience on the project, some challenges that we would have, and help each other, like solving those issues. By doing that, we are increasing the knowledge within the company about front end, and we also kind of try to share the knowledge among the company by having knowledge cafes, like creating documentation, like share the knowledge across the whole company to at least improve a little bit the knowledge about front end.
Yeah, I
Create
actually joined
awareness.
it because I felt insecure with my front-end skills, and I thought these guys can teach me some things, and they did. So I was able to do the talk. Now I consider myself more of a front-end developer, not more, but like 50-50 now. So
I think that's really interesting too, because some developers, they can build and they know how to use the platform really well, but when they have to communicate with other teams or talk about what they're doing, they have a harder time. So you mentioned being able to kind of speak both languages of design and code. And when you participate in a guild and you're sharing your knowledge, it forces you to get used to talking about the concepts, which probably prepares you really well for doing presentations at a conference like this, right?
Yeah. It's always something that we need to take in consideration and prepare as well.
Right. Looks like you have a fan, by the way. There's a comment here from YouTube that Adriano is a front-end magician. So
I pay him to say that.
Okay. I don't know if he's a friend of yours, but definitely people watching at home. I'm really impressed and excited. So I want to talk a little bit about what makes front-end so complex. Like, why does it need 3 different talks about how to implement best practices? What have you discovered? Maybe Ozan, you have a...
Yeah, well, it's not as unified as backend, I guess. And there are like a lot of devices and browsers you need to keep in mind. It was much worse in the past. It's a little bit better now that Edge uses the Chrome as well, like the Chrome engine. But still, we have to keep in mind a lot of things. And also, I think you would agree, there are endless possibilities in the minds of the clients. So they would like us to be magicians. It is possible, but it's like a delicate balance, it involves money and time.
I think that's for sure something like the creativity is like an infinite thing, and our customers can get really creative sometimes in terms of UI.
Oh, I bet.
So, yeah.
it's well, I think with the front end, because end users see it and they interact with it, they have a lot of opinions about it, right? Whereas maybe in the back end, you have more challenges around ensuring that it's scalable, ensuring it's performant. But as long as it works, the people who are using it may not know the difference as long as it's working as they expect.
Yeah.
Whereas on the front end, they may say, well, why does the button do this? Or why does it look like that? Or why isn't it working for mobile as well as for browsers? And so I think it's that aspect of it too that maybe you've run into.
I guess it's also important to show the correct way to the clients to how to do things, like teach them a little bit of user experience, because sometimes what they have in mind is not the best way to do it. So UI has become very much connected to UX. So that's also something front-end people needs to keep in mind, I guess.
Yeah, and so it's almost kind of the client isn't always right, but we need to be able to coach them through and explain why and what other options may be. That's a really good insight.
Yep.
So as you were preparing these presentations, is there anything that you learned about front end that surprised you that maybe you hadn't encountered before?
I don't know. I think the main thing, the main takeaway is like that people enjoy learning these kind of things. Sometimes it's just because there is no knowledge sharing about it. So when we do something like this, we can see that people enjoy it, like to learn these new tricks. It's front end is visual. It's really visual. So people can actually see things happening. Like the back end is a little bit different because everything works behind the scenes. You don't have an idea on how things work. Sometimes just to display a label, it takes weeks. And that work sometimes not valuable. But in front end, if you put something spinning, like people just, whoa, this is really cool. And these things, like they matter. Like if we actually teach people to do these kind of things to improve the usability of an application, to improve the user experience, etc., I think it's really valuable. And these sessions, we put up the sessions like this because, we want to help people, and that's our main goal.
It feels good. Yeah.
So you are both based in the Netherlands now, right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
how does it feel to have one here in the Netherlands this year?
Well, it's closer to home, so I didn't have to travel. I mean, I like Amsterdam, so I think it's quite good.
Yeah, it's different. Like I'm Portuguese. I'm from Portugal, so last year I was there.
Yeah.
This year is I didn't have to travel. It's here, much closer. And I think it's good because we actually have a lot of companies and people here that work with OutSystems, and it's a beautiful city. So let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm having a great time as well. Well, thank you so much for being here and talking about front end with us, digging into a little bit more of that. Before we sign off, is there anything that you'd like to share? Anything else you'd like to add?
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. And watch our session eventually when it's online.
Yeah,
and the other ones.
Don't be afraid of front end.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely check it out. Maybe watch all three series so you can learn as much as you can about front end. Well, thank you again for being here, and everyone at home, make sure that you stay tuned. We'll be right back with Ricardo from the product team. All right, great job. Make sure that he's staying. All right, and we are back with Ricardo. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Great, thanks so much for being here. Could you introduce yourself and tell us a little about your role for the people watching at home?
Sure, so my name is Ricardo. I'm part of the product management group. I'm currently leading 2 product areas, application development and data integrations. So for application development is everything related with the core functional capabilities that allow our developers to build their applications from the small sets of widgets to more architectural kind of patterns like the events capabilities that we launched back in March, if I'm not mistaken. And also data integrations, which has everything related with integration with external systems of data, REST APIs, and so on and so forth, where we launch also our data fabric solution also back in March.
Wow, so you've been busy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's such a wide variety of the stack to cover, right? So application development, but then also data, especially when you're working with organizations that have a lot of different data sources. And that's where Data Fabric comes in. Can you give us a brief overview of Data Fabric?
Sure. So Data Fabric, we like to see it as a data management platform that allows you to take advantage of your whole data, your whole enterprise data. So it allows you to very easily integrate with a wide range of external systems, and allows you to really make use of them and extending them in OutSystems by leveraging our virtualization layer that basically allows you to handle data like any other data source that you have in the platform. So basically, this means that you can integrate with a wide range of systems like SQL Server, Oracle, but also systems of records like Salesforce, SAP, and you handle this sort of data all the same inside OutSystems. So you can leverage our low-code constructs like the aggregates to query the data, and you can very easily manipulate the data and take advantage of all other accelerators that we have, like scaffolding operations, true change, staging to detect whether there will be errors in your application. So you can take advantage of all of our low-code properties on top of data.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're taking the concepts of low code from application development in terms of that visualization layer, but applying it to connecting all of these different systems together. And when it comes to large enterprise organizations, they may have like dozens, if not more, of different data sources. Have you seen that as well?
Oh yeah. So we actually ran a survey, or we saw some very interesting data in recent surveys that show that companies are usually drawing data for more than 400 different data sources, and this number can go as high as 1,000 different data sources. So we're really streamlining access to data sources and really accelerating the way that you interact with the data, the way that you manipulate data, and the way that you present the data. So we like to say that we make sure that you use the right data at the right time for the right people.
And that's really important because I think we've all heard that concept of, garbage in, garbage out, right? Where if you aren't accessing your data in the correct way, or maybe if you're querying it in a non-performant way, then it slows everything down. Can you talk a little bit about the, how Data Fabric works in terms of connecting it to your OutSystems applications once you get through that visualization layer?
How we connect to?
So how to actually integrate that data into your OutSystems applications.
So yeah, so traditionally the way that you connect with these external data systems, you either do it in traditional code, leveraging existing SDKs and handling all the connectivity parts, all the security parts, and then you also need to figure out how you're going to integrate what API you're going to integrate with, and also, and this is something that people usually only find out much later in the process, but you need to care for the NFRs, the non-functional requirements. So you need to make sure that the way that you fetch data is done in a secure fashion, and as you mentioned, in a performant way. So Data Fabric abstracts all of this complexity, allowing you to have almost an immediate integration experience with these external data systems. So you just need to provide your basic integration settings, and we'll take care of all the connectivity details for you. And whenever you query the data, we make sure that all the generated queries are optimized for maximum performance as well. Also, I wanted to say here that many customers that we've seen in many enterprise solutions also have their data behind their firewalls in an on-premise installation. We also do provide a way to integrate with these systems through a secure, what we call our secure gateway, that allows you to securely connect with these private resources. So really, it's all about unlocking all of your data, enterprise data potential.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's a huge concern because when you don't have access to that, you typically have to string those together, through a third party or through some other kind of system, or build it out manually yourself. So that's really interesting and good to know that that option is there for that private kind of gateway or private connection. Now, I did see something recently that excited me because as somebody who I'm not great with queries, I will say that's why I love the built-in kind of natural language queries in ODC Studio. But I'm really excited about data mashup because this allows you to kind of string together more complex queries. So how does this feature benefit developers?
Yeah, so let me take a step back there and talk about the lack of expertise of some developers querying data. But because, as I mentioned, with Data Fabric, you can leverage our low-code construct. So you don't need to create your SQL statements to query the data and really try to optimize the queries. So you can leverage our built-in aggregates, which are our low-code constructs to query the data, and we'll generate the query for you as optimized as it can be. Furthermore, we also have, and following the AI trend that we've been following all around the conference, we did release a while ago the capability for you to query the data with natural language.
Yes.
So you can just go to our IDE and just type in, I want to find our top sales from last year or something like that. And we'll generate the aggregate for you, therefore generating the SQL statement for you and executing the query. As for the data mashup, this is just an extension of what we already provide. So we're giving you the ability to actually connect multiple data sources instead of having to fetch the data separately, building complex logic to combine the data, creating structures and things that you really shouldn't be creating. So we allow you to, again, leveraging our low-code constructs, build everything in the same place.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting. I'm glad that you also mentioned the natural language queries because that's something that, as I've talked to some of their developers, they who are so used to doing it, who have been around for a while, are so used to using the aggregate editor, are really excited to see that because it does make it so much easier. And so when it comes to security and governance, and we talked about security and performance, already hinted at it a little bit, but what are the benefits of a tool like Data Fabric when it comes to that security and governance perspective?
Yeah, so whenever you start using Data Fabric, we'll inherit whatever governance model you already have in your data model. So for instance, if you're integrating with a SQL server, you provide an account for that, and you're restricting the visibility of certain tables to that account, we're inheriting that governance model. So we will only make that data available to you that you have access to. And then we also give you the ability to pick whatever data you want to work with. So you don't need to bring your whole external data system into OutSystems to leverage it. You can actually pick whatever is useful for your application. So for instance, you might have your whole retail system, but you only want to work with the orders. You want to somehow extend the orders in your application. So you only need to bring your orders into OutSystems. A more concrete example, you don't need to bring your full SAP account to OutSystems. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense because you're only probably using a couple of entities there, or even if there are a few of them, you don't need to bring everything else to OutSystems. Only the things that you really need to work. And then whenever you're querying the data, as I mentioned, you're leveraging our existing low-code constructs. So you can also enhance them with the right roles, the right user that is logged in. So you can do a whole bunch of things in your aggregates to really fine-tune the governance model and security model that you have applied.
I like the idea of really only bringing in what you need to use, right? Because we see that with different types of if you're inheriting a module or if you're integrating different services, sometimes that can add overhead. And so the same thing, I'm sure, with data, right? And if you're only needing to bring in what you actually will use in the application, I think that just makes it a lot more maintainable too, in addition to being performant.
It's more maintainable, it's more secure, it's more performant because you're not querying the whole system. You're just really creating the exact data that you're looking for. So it's really a win-win in this case. You pick what you need to use. Again, if we follow back the principle that we have, we show the right data to the right people at the right time. So that's really it, giving you the ability to pick whatever is relevant for your application and for your end users.
And if you wanted to get, the right data at the right time using more traditional tools or, previous solutions, not Data Fabric, I imagine that's a lot more complex. And Data Fabric takes care of a lot of that configuration. Is that a much more simple process to integrate with those third-party solutions?
Yeah, yes, it is. And we actually have some data that we really speed up this integration aspect to a few minutes. Because if you're doing it by hand, the hard way, let's call it like that, in a traditional fashion, it's really not only do you really need to know the underlying system that you're connecting to. So for instance, you really need to know what APIs you need to integrate for an SAP account. You need to know what exact API you're going to use for Salesforce. If you're using different entities, you might need to use different APIs. So you really need to know the system. And even if you know it, you need to implement all of that. So you need to create, if you're integrating with REST, you need to create the connection to REST, make the request, handle the authentication part, make sure that, again, following back to the non-functional requirements, making sure that you do that in a secure fashion, and making sure that you do it in a performant way. And then when you talk about connecting with, meshing up data with different systems, the data doesn't come in a streamlined fashion. Right. Every data source has its own output, let's call it like that. So we might be handling a JSON object. We might be handling a custom object that is really weird with its very unpopular format or whatever, or even a binary file. And you really need to deconstruct all of that, make sure that you have a standard way of representing data, and then you need to mesh all of this up together. So we're really taking this complexity out of the equation, making sure that the integration process is really smooth and fast. So you just need to give the basic authentication credentials, and we handle the rest. So we take care of the security, of the connection, of all the APIs. You don't need to know the APIs. You just need to know the data that you want to bring. And then by providing this virtualization layer, everything is represented the same, regardless of the source. Doesn't matter if it's coming from SQL Server, Oracle, Salesforce, SAP, it doesn't matter. Everything has the same representation in low code, so you can use it like any other low code record that you're used to working with.
Yeah, it's essentially, instead of having to deal with whatever output format that is, you're just turning that into an OutSystems language or OutSystems version of it, which, OutSystems developers, in my experience, don't like to do things the hard way, right? And so they're used to having that composability and that level of abstraction. And so,
and it's not just the hard way. It's really, this sort of integration is really error prone.
Yes.
And if you want to evolve it, so now you imagine that you want to bring yet another field. So if you have your structures built, you need to add a new field to your structure. You need to review all of your integration and mashup processes to make sure that you're not forgetting that field. So it's really not just, it's really the core of what OutSystems does. It's not just building, it's maintaining and evolving. And it's very easy to do so if you leverage our low-code constructs. And that's really what Data Fabric is all about.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today on stream to share all these insights. We really appreciate you coming on Decoded Live.
Thank you for the invitation.
Great. Well, we talked a lot about ODC today, and we've shared a lot of the features that are available in OutSystems Developer Cloud. And if you are at home and you're wondering, how can I get my hands on this? How can I start to experience it and learn more for myself? Well, we're really, really excited to share that we are now offering an ODC environment, shared environments for you while doing the ODC training. So in our training environment, we have courses for ODC in addition to our other courses. And now you are able to leverage a shared ODC environment so you can get your hands on all of these great features that we've been talking about as you learn more about ODC and maybe even becoming an ODC certified developer. So we have some updates to share for that in this short video.
Hello community, I'm Angela from Product Management, and I'm here to announce that starting today, you can access ODC for a fully hands-on training experience. Whether you're preparing for the next certification or simply want to deep dive into a new product capability, you just need to go to your favorite ODC learning journey and request to join the shared workspace. There won't be time to wait. Your invitation to the ODC world will be waiting in your email inbox. During 10 days, you will be able to learn all about ODC and its impressive capabilities. From ODC Portal to ODC Studio, you'll have everything you need to build, deploy, and manage your first AI-powered application. You'll be collaborating and sharing the development space with other super talented developers, so let's keep it friendly, fun, and safe for everyone. ODC has a lot to offer, so if you need more than 10 days, don't worry. You can always join a new shared workspace and keep exploring. Sign up today, start your training, and be part of the next generation of application development.
Oh,
How's it been going? Well,
yeah, great. All right, well, welcome back to the stream. I'm super excited to be here with Paulo Rosário from Product League. Welcome to the stream.
hello everyone. My name is Paulo Rosário, and well, I guess I can take this opportunity to kind of introduce myself
yeah,
right off the
absolutely.
bat. So, I've been working with OutSystems for the last 5 years, and I've been with Product League for the last 2 years. I'm a kind of a late bloomer into OutSystems because I was actually taking civil engineering before I went into the tech world, which is a fun little aside. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks you for having me, and let's keep going.
Awesome. Yeah. So what has your journey been like since starting to work with OutSystems?
It's been really, really fun, really interesting. I mean, in the first place, the reason I went to civil engineering was because, well, I wanted to, build bridges and roads and houses, and I mean, build big things. Really, really fast, I got to the conclusion that was already done. So I wasn't really going to be able to do that stuff like I wanted to. So going to IT gave me that possibility, and then going into OutSystems I actually stumbled upon OutSystems. It was just a mere luck thing. Really gave me the tools and like in the capability of building stuff fast and integrating in fast iterations and quick development, which is something that I like. I like to see the visual the visual side of what I'm programming, what I'm doing. So that's very, very appealing to me.
Yeah, it's it's kind of very validating to see that in that feedback, right?
Yeah,
that feedback loop of oh, I made this. Look, it's working. People are using it, and I imagine you also build apps a lot faster than people build bridges. So
yeah, most of the time, yes.
Hopefully, right? So that's that. And so at Product League, what type do you typically work on the front end, back end, full stack? What is your role like?
I mean,
there?
it depends along my career. Although a short one, I should again say, I did get a chance to like program on every aspect of the programming scene. So I do like both of them. So front end and back end, they both offer different challenges. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm maybe working a little bit more in the front end the last couple of projects. So maybe I'm more inclined towards that, but it's fun all around. I think that's more important.
Awesome. And are you based in the Netherlands as well?
No, I'm based in Portugal.
Oh, in Portugal. Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you enjoying being in Amsterdam for one?
I'm enjoying the trains a lot because that's the only thing I do right now. I've been in Amsterdam for 2 days and I rode a train, in the metro. So now we're going out for dinner today. I think I'm enjoying. We're staying in Utrecht. We're not staying in Amsterdam.
Oh, right.
So yesterday we had a chance to go and see Utrecht at least at night, and it was a very, very, very pleasant, although cold.
Yes, very cold
night, but yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot.
Excellent. Yeah, I was in Utrecht last week actually, and I really enjoyed it. It's a very cool city. So, so now you are also part of the Champions program.
Yes.
You're an OutSystems champion. So, what is that like? How do you enjoy being part of that?
It's very, very cool. They added a new batch of OutSystems champion about a year ago in October, and I was part of that batch. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. And since then, it's been really, really fun. I mean, I'm pretty sure it gave me the opportunity as well to speak to tomorrow, and it gives you another insight into the community and how you can be involved and how you can help and how it works. So it's very cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. So in the the 5 years that you've been working with OutSystems, how involved have you been in the community, or how helpful has the community been for you?
Very, very helpful. Really. I've been going mostly. I've been going to user groups since I started OutSystems, working with OutSystems, because I got a hint that they gave pizzas at the user groups.
Oh,
so
yes, that's important.
we used to go there and have pizza and enjoy and get to know each other. And there's people that I've been friends with since 2019, thanks to the user groups. So you also build connections and you build networks and you discuss like interesting topics and ways to solve them, and you get knowledge from everywhere. So that was really a big part of it as well.
Oh, great. Yeah. And so, I think a lot of people maybe who are watching from home, who are OutSystems developers, they may be involved in the community or they may not be as involved in the community. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to people maybe earlier in their career who aren't as involved but want to get involved with the community?
There's a bunch of ways to get involved. Like I said, user groups are a great way.
Right.
Get in touch with your local user group organizer. Go to the user group OutSystems platform. You'll have you'll find all the information you there. If you have time and if you want to really go deeper into the community, go into the forums.
Yes.
They also are a great place to get information, to learn, to get different viewpoints on how to do stuff. It's always interesting. I mean, just have fun with it. I mean, if you're enjoying helping the community or being part of the community, just keep going and things will happen and you'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me coming into joining OutSystems, the community itself has really blown me away. Like, it's such a unique community and it's so tight knit, and they really just help each other out a lot. There's not division. There's not, competitiveness in it. It's just really such a unique,
very welcoming. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, let's dig into your talk, which is happening tomorrow,
Yes,
right? Okay,
yes.
make sure I have my notes right. But I'm excited about your talk because it combines two very hot topics here at the conference: AI and also ODC migration. So, where did the idea come from to use AI to help with this?
So, well, the idea came actually from one of our team members. That's with all this buzz around migrating to ODC, we came to the conclusion that one of the other spots to migrate will be the actual SQL, the SQL advanced queries. So we looked at it as a problem to solve. So what the idea to use AI came from that. Okay, AI is very in fashion and it's a very big buzzword. I mean, you can see from the floor. But so okay, let's think how we can integrate AI into this and let's find a clever way to do it, a valid use case. So tomorrow I'll be talking a little bit about that, where the idea came from, examining the issue, if there was really an issue and really a problem that could be solved with AI, if AI was really the tool that we needed to do it. And then we integrated it into a very, very nifty tool that we have at Product League, which is our FAT tool, our factory analytic tool, which gives us a bunch of information about someone's, a factory, OutSystems factory. Mm-hmm. And then with the power of AI and that tool, we are able to give, the client that wants an assessment, a very, very confident outlook of how much time the migration will take, what are the major hurdles, and as well, and it's a very good time saver. I mean,
or lifesaver.
Or lifesaver.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. While because migrating advanced queries, depending on the factory, can take a very, very, very long time. So
yeah, and just to be clear, for people at home maybe who haven't read the description, you're talking about using AI to actually translate or convert.
Yes.
Just to kind of the advanced SQL to PostgreSQL in order to facilitate the migration.
Exactly.
Right?
So OutSystems 11 right now uses a database language, which is one of the database language that they uses is Advanced SQL, and that is not the case for ODC. So ODC uses Aurora PostgreSQL, which is a variation of PostgreSQL used by Amazon AWS. And the major issue between those is that they have different syntaxes. So one thing in SQL doesn't mean the other thing in PostgreSQL, and that can be a problem, more a problem when the complexity of the query is larger. So that was the main point of using AI.
Okay, and so what has your migration experience been like so far in working on this problem?
It's been good. I mean, we haven't had major migrations yet. We are working on it, but we already had like a little test run. Using the tool and using AI, which I'll be talking as well tomorrow. It went well. It actually helped. It was actually a good accelerator. So I'm very glad that worked out. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask if you have had a chance to absorb or to think about the announcement today about Mentor, and if you have any thoughts on that.
I do have some thoughts on that. No, I think Mentor is a very cool idea, especially the life cycle part of it. I think it will be a good help, good accelerator as well for the life cycle and just keeping track of stuff. They did talk about stuff like peer reviews and stuff like that, which I think is great to be integrated in the system itself, because right now we use peer reviews, but we have to keep it like in Jira, in whatever software you use. I think that part is good. And I mean, if Mentor can create the database table and create the actions, the CRUD actions for the tables, I'm happy with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That just saves me a lot of time.
And so I'm assuming that you've been really kind of in the weeds, or when it comes to SQL as part of this project and working on it. Have you kind of learned anything about the different syntaxes, or anything that surprised you, or kind of something regarding that?
Yeah, I mean the differences are pretty evident already. I mean, OutSystems does have some documentation about the subject, although some stuff is missing from the documentation that we found. But I mean, you can't cover everything. There are some different, really different cases, like the like operator, which is totally different in PostgreSQL. But other than that, I mean, it's just I think the challenge was more getting the AI to do what we needed it to do, and not much getting enough data to test, because you can just get some SQLs from your factories.
Yeah.
So that was a fun part of it as well.
Yeah. So you mentioned getting the AI to do what you want it to do. So what were some of the challenges that you faced there?
Well, hallucinations.
Yeah.
Sometimes the AI would just translate something. Well, it would think it would translate something, but it wouldn't. So that took a lot of tweaking, a lot of testing to get it right. And you'll never be able to get that right.
So addressing those challenges, is it prompt to come down to different prompting, or is there other tools that or approaches you can use?
Well, prompts are very important, especially using GenAI. I mean, like the name says, GenAI does generate the answer on the spot for you. So it's very, very hard to make anything that requires a deterministic result.
Yes.
So especially for a small test, like when you pass it a prompt in the prompt you pass it a SQL query, and then he has to translate it exactly like you wanted. So the biggest challenges there were the prompt, absolutely. The instructions that we had to use, like always tweaking and testing and tweaking and testing, and then not doing what we wanted and going back again, and then it was like all week of that, which was also fun, but exhausting.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to learn more about your process and the results and everything that you learned along the way. But aside from your session tomorrow, are there other ones that you're excited to, or are there other topics that you're excited to learn more about here at ONE?
Yeah, like the Adriano and Ozan were just a couple of months ago. They also had a very interesting talk about front end. Anything that has to do with migration, I'm very excited for as well. And AI, obviously, but there's a good talk tomorrow about AI. You should watch it.
And you mentioned migration a lot as well too. As you're talking to customers or to clients about migrating, what are some of the things that best practice or advice that you're telling them in terms of preparing for migration?
In terms of preparations, I mean, right now it's much easier to migrate stuff in reactive. That not in traditional is almost impossible to do. I mean, when we approach a client for a migration or something like that, we always, like I said, with our analytical tool, we can see how many traditional screens he has, or many advanced queries or methods that they're using. So taking all those points into consideration, we can tell the client, look, you have to restructure this or recode the spot to make it easier and faster. And so we've got that all bundled up in a little nice package.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your insights. I'm looking forward, like I said, to learning more from your talk tomorrow. And those sessions are being recorded, so people can watch at home in a few weeks when those are available. So this will give them a nice preview. But is there anything else that you'd like to share?
No, not really.
All right, well, you've been great. I really appreciate the insights. I learned a few things about, I did not realize the like query, the like command was so different. So I'll have to go do some research into that. But yeah, thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Great. Well, everyone at home, we'll be back in just a minute. We are going to close out the show with myself, with Eliza, and with Andrea from our community team. First thing I want to do is talk about a little bit about the work that goes into creating ONE and making this possible. We actually have some photos from the setup that happened just a couple days ago here in the expo hall behind me. And so there is a lot of work that goes into this. Yeah, so we can see it takes really it takes an entire army of people setting things up, creating things, putting the signs up, but it all was really worthwhile because we had some really cool results. I mean, I was really impressed with the Neo stairs. We have banners. Really, when you walk into this part of the town and you walk up to the Rye Convention Center, like it feels like one. You feel like you're home, and your developer community is all here and around you. So really, really thanks to all of the team that made this possible. Again, we will be right back for our very last panel of the day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. I have to talk close to the thing.
We've got the whole team here. And not only that, my boss has joined us.
Oh my God.
So please welcome Andrea to the stream. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I am Andrea, Manager of Community Engagement and OutSystems. What an honor it is to be here with you ladies.
Wonderful. So Andrea has been presenting the community keynote, watching the various other keynotes, and staking out the community booth, correct? All day. She's been on her feet all day, so we're proud to give her a chair for
Wearing
the first time.
heels, please give me some credit.
So what was the vibes like in the keynote?
Oh my God, so much happening. You know, with the CEO keynotes, Paulo was so excited. We finally announced Mentor, the newly appointed Project Morpheus. Louise, our CPTO, did a demo on everything ODC and everything AI. And we're all talking about what the future is going to look like for OutSystems. And we're all trying to convert as many professional developers as possible into the promise that low code is going to make you as effective and as productive and as fast as possible. So I feel like those keynotes really had that amazing energy of like getting people excited, getting people inspired.
Absolutely.
We had a full house. So I had the privilege of walking into the stage. I swear to God, last year when we were at CCB in Lisbon, we had 1,800 people. We've gone over 2,000 today, right? So as I walk into the main stage, I'm like, what is happening? Someone hold me. I'm going to pass out, because it was the first time that I've seen so many people. And I was here in 2019. We beat that record as well, right? So community keynote was amazing. We announced the winners of our Build for the Future hackathon. So our promise that technology is going to be used for good, for social impact. So it was a full day. I'm like catching my breath of how amazing it was and all the things that happened.
So I think this is a question for all of us. I'm springing it on Cecelia a little bit, but we all met a ton of people today. So I want us to kind of go around and say an exciting moment meeting someone new today. So I'm going to start. I've sort of met Daniel and Helena before from our community forum / user group panel, but it was really exciting to talk to them because they just, I kept asking them why they do it, and they were like, oh, it just feels good. So that was really nice. Cecelia?
Yeah, I think I was excited to meet Orla, who was on our last episode of Decoded Live.
Yes.
Meet her in person. It's so interesting when you talk to somebody virtually for a while. Like, you interview them, you get to know them, but you don't actually meet them in person. And then you see them, you're like, oh, wow, like, yeah, you're a real person. That's super cool. And then also it was really exciting to be able to interview Rodrigo earlier. We had met briefly before, but had being able to just like really dig into AI as a topic, and Mentor was a really great opportunity. So
very nice. Andrea?
I'm trying to pinpoint, honestly, but the thing is, right, as a global conference, we had so many people coming from everywhere. So I have like 2 champions in mind. One of them came from Australia, 21 hours to fly over. The other one came from the Philippines, 24 hours to get here, right? And it was just aha moment of exactly like these people are real. Like, I've been talking to you for years, and you guys flew across the world to come here. So it's been amazing.
Nice. Yeah, I think 2 of our Australian champions are going to be on the stream tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. So you mentioned a little bit about the crowd size comparing this year to last time we were in Amsterdam. In general, though, is the energy different? Is there more excitement? The food better?
Well, I had lunch at 4. I had a banana. But I feel like there are a couple of differences. So I feel that the fact that we joined developers and business leaders together have nuances, right? So we go into on stage and we're super excited and we're doing our thing and we're being loud and we're talking about achievements of the community when they want to talk about, success stories and numbers and how many hours were saved and how much money was saved. So I feel like every time we get those two different personas together, it is nuanced. I feel like the energy is still amazing and we have surpassed our record. It's the first time that we've gone over the 2,000 number and it's been growing. People have been arriving during the afternoon. I don't know if you've seen it. Well, you probably have been here all day, but people have been coming with like their little bags just straight from the airport straight to here. So I'm sure that the numbers are going to go up even more. And it's just an honor to see that we broke our record. So you heard it here first.
Yes. I think what you said too about combining those two different types of groups or personas together, it's interesting to see the response to such a big announcement like Mentor, because we've been talking to developers and how they feel about it, but then also getting to have those conversations with people who are also focused on some of the business outcomes and what that means for their organization as they're transforming and going through these like modernization journeys. And so it's interesting to see the impact across the entire spectrum.
Cecelia, I cannot tell you the amount of people, right? MVPs, champions, random people that I just met today who told me, please put in a good word for me to get early access. Please just get me into the program. I'm like, I don't know you, but I will try my best. I mean, honestly, everyone wants to get their hands on Mentor, so that's insane.
Yeah, we had some people in the chat also asking to get access to it. So, definitely make sure that you fill out that form.
Yeah, speaking of the chat, I'll just remind you all, this is my boss. So feel free to put in the chat what a good job we are doing. And this is also good practice for tomorrow when we have Andrea's boss on, and then Andrea's boss's boss on, and then you'll never believe this, Andrea's boss's boss on, our CEO, Paulo Rosário. So be ready to put in the chat what an excellent job everyone is doing.
Well, I have heard wonders about you both.
Wonderful.
So I never doubted your excellent skills of interviewing on live stream.
Well, it helps when you have all these really brilliant guests who have such interesting topics. And so they're making it easy for us, I have to say. So.
Yeah, and Andrea gave us a lot of advice about key people to invite, saying, oh, this person is perfect. I will say again, we have the announcement playing, so it's very distracting to us, but you can't hear it. Okay, so to kind of turn back to your role today, what's been the energy in the booths, in the MVP booth, the champion booth, and the community booth?
So both our MVPs and our champions are super users. Just FYI, champion applications are open. Please subscribe, apply, become a community leader of tomorrow. Both MVPs and champions have had the most vibrant energy because I feel like it's probably one of the first times in a really long time that they've been together. And for the champions, it's the second time that they have their own lounge. So I feel like they're getting pampered. They're getting used to being treated as the VIPs that they are. But it has been incredible. I feel like people from all over the world are talking with each other and are hanging out and are, creating relationships and bonds that are going to be long lasting. I feel like that's very nice to see. Everyone is going after the swag. I swear to God, like they want the free swag. They want to buy the swag. They want all the swag. And we're doing something very fun for those of you who don't know. Every piece of swag, every piece of merch that is bought, all the profits go into the NGOs that we're supporting within our digital volunteers program. So even the swag is being sold for good, right? We're trying to do our part. But the energy has been super good. In the community, people are more curious than ever. I feel like because we have this huge spectrum of junior to senior people.
Absolutely.
People want to learn what they can do to become even more seniors. The more senior people want to learn all the different routes and journey paths that they can go through to become MVPs and champions. Champion applications are open. And it's just been so much fun.
Okay, and I'm going to be brutally honest here.
Oh boy.
Earlier, I was peering over the balcony while Cecelia was presenting. And it seemed like the MVPs were all doing shots of cherry liqueur of some sort.
I was trying to avoid saying that. But cherry liqueur is not the only liqueur that's in that booth. Let me tell you right
We
now.
can get some for the champions booth then.
You know, I thought that the ping pong table was going to be enough, but then those cheaters came in with the booze and they just ruined it for all of us.
I'm more concerned about getting cherry liqueur for the Decoded Live.
And you know the cutest thing? It's a Portuguese custom that they come in chocolate cups. Oh, so you drink it from the chocolate cup and then you eat it because it's so sweet. It like the bitterness of the chocolate kind of cuts it.
Wonderful. That. Yeah.
So
Well,
speaking
you're
of-
almost done. So you can get yours right
All right.
after.
Speaking of booze, I heard there's some seafaring happening tonight. What's going on tonight?
Is seafaring a word?
Yes.
Eliza, well, I'm Portuguese, for those of you who don't know, even though I have a very American accent. Eliza's job, besides being the amazing community manager that she is educating me in complex English vocabulary. We are indeed hosting a boat party because we made my boss's dream come true of getting a boat in Amsterdam. Well, his dream was to get a boat in the canals. So we would have the boat streaming through the canals. What he didn't know is that those boats can take like 50 people and we're taking 800. That's the difference. But we're going to be moored. I learned this word, Eliza. I knew you would be proud of me. I knew you would be proud of me. So we're going to be moored for 2 hours. Capacity of 800 people, maybe more. Open bar. 10 to midnight because we want to be responsible. What happens after midnight is not on us. Nope. So we close it. We close the day when the day ends. But it's going to be amazing. And Neo with the mascot suit is going to be there.
Oh, I love Neo. Neo's my favorite.
It's going to be so much fun.
Neo party. Let's
Neo
go.
party. He can barely breathe inside the suit, but he's having the he's having a blast.
Amazing. So I think that's coming up on the end here.
Oh no.
Thank you so much for joining us.
One more hour with you guys.
Well, you did mention swag earlier, and so I do want to just remind everybody that even if you are joining from home, you do not have to miss out on the swag. We have multiple opportunities tomorrow to for you to win OutSystems swag prize pack by participating in our trivia. We actually have a lot happening tomorrow.
We
on
do
stream.
indeed. Our agenda for day 2 is, you're not going to believe this, way bigger than today. We had about 4 hours with you today. Tomorrow is 6 hours. So bring that total up to 10 hours. I just want to shout out, we've got a few product people. We've got a bunch of our speakers, but maybe most interesting is going to be, we have Christine, our Chief Marketing Officer. We have Luis, who did our product keynote today, our Chief Product and Technology Officer, correct? Yeah, I got it. And then to close out the day in the 4 p.m. block, is our CEO, Paulo Rosado. So I hope you'll join us for that. And until then, have a wonderful evening.
Yes, thank you so much for being here with us, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.